Hello, welcome
Do,
to
do,
the.
do, 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 is the video games and chill.
It's the Video Games and Chill podcast.
Ooh, I don't like adding podcast on the end.
Ooh, do you not?
No.
Hello,
Sam, who are we and what are we doing?
hold on. Hello, welcome to Video Games and Chill with me, Samuel Carmody, and my good friend Daniel Ingram.
Because apparently peace signs are cool. RDJ brought them back in Iron Man, so.
Fantastic.
And apparently I call Robert Downey Jr. RDJ now. Who knew?
It's what all his friends call him, and you know, he'd like to
Yeah.
be his friend.
I like to think they call him Bobby Downey or something.
Bobby Downey.
Bobby Downey Jr.
Probably not that.
Probably not that, no.
Oh, um, how are we doing, Dan?
We're doing all right. I mean, we've just spent the last 3 hours trying to, cobble this together. I like the fact that you looked at the time there to check. Has it really been three
I
hours?
did look at the time to check, and it has been 3 hours
It has been 3 hours. Yeah,
to cobble
but,
together
we're
something.
all set up and we've got fun things doing, and we were going to use a piece of software that shall not be named because it is banished to the shadow realm. Um, and now
you're
we're using a
you're not the
different
one
piece.
who's allowed to make Yu-Gi-Oh references. I'm the one who's allowed to make Yu-Gi-Oh references.
I can make more Yu-Gi-Oh references than you probably.
Probably, probably. Mine will be relevant to the game in its current state. Yours will
And
be
mine will be
relevant.
relevant to a YouTube channel called Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged Series. Um,
Yes, and to
also referencing friends that I have that they go pot of gold or pot of greed or
Pot
whatever
of
it is.
Greed.
Pot of
What
greed.
what does Pot of Greed even do?
I don't know. They never cover it in the show.
That's the most.
Uh,
That's the most tired meme. We have just alienated the whole of the Yu-Gi-Oh community.
wow. I feel so bad that we've alienated four people.
I mean, I'm one of those four people, so
Exactly. Do you feel alienated?
not right now.
Well, then you're fine.
How long have we been talking about doing this?
Uh, well, remarkably, the story, as old as time, uh, probably begins with a Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged reference,
It probably
and
does.
and a trip to Asda in first year of university, and then probably 3 or 4 weeks after that, we
Mm.
probably mentioned that this was something that we could perhaps do at some point in the future,
So what?
and
What year was
all
first
on
year of uni
eight
for
years
us?
later.
Yeah, was that 8 years ago? Was that
That
2012?
that was 2012, and it probably would have been October, November time,
Yeah.
because me, Phil, and Richard were already, you know, clicking,
Mm-hmm.
and you joined because you know you live with Richard.
I joined because you needed someone to make fun of in the group.
You joined because you had a car,
That's true.
which is also how I know it's October, November time because it wasn't until after the reading week in first
October,
semester that
November.
you came back
Yeah.
up with your car.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So yeah,
So
yeah.
8 years, the best part of 8 years.
8 years that we've known each other, and probably about 7.9 years since we decided that we were going to do this at some point, and it's
Crazy.
gone through various forms from podcast to
Website,
website
yeah.
to hey, let's get a newsletter going. It's been going on so long. At one point, I think we were talking about carrier pigeons
I was
delivering
just about to
stuff.
say, yeah, there was the carrier pigeon that was going to be delivered to all of our followers.
Poor Jeff. He didn't see that fox coming.
Oh no. Right, um, so why are we here?
Uh, we're here because we've been talking about doing it for 8 years.
We've been talking about doing it
Uh,
for 8 years. We both love video games, and we just want an outlet to talk about it. Mm,
we feel like there isn't enough video game coverage, especially not in this form of media.
absolutely not.
Definitely not. Yeah, there's definitely not thousands upon thousands of video podcasts that you
Who
could be
who else is
listening to as
casting
opposed
a
to this.
pod about video games?
About these video games? Probably several people.
Several people.
Several people, yeah. But yeah, so
So we did meet in Asda, and it was
we
because of
didn't
a
meet
U.
in Asda. No,
No,
we
no, we
played
didn't. We didn't meet in Asda. We.
met in the first damn week
I
of university.
I feel like we cemented our friendship in Asda
Uh, yeah,
when you made a Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged reference, and I was like this, and I just went.
no, the way it happened is you went no homo, and I went no all of the homo, and then you just looked at me, and I was just sort of like, what? And you were like, no. Your eyes widened, and you sort of went, no.
He
There
knows.
can only be one, and then you drew your sword and beheaded me because, Highlander.
Yeah, because there
Yeah,
can only be one.
because there can only be one. And even
That's-
if that one includes a very, very strangely accented Spanish person,
And
played by Sean Connery.
and then since then, we've pretty much spoken about video games in most conversations we have.
I wouldn't say most, I'd say most.
Yeah, yeah.
Fairly regularly and fairly.
We do talk about other things. We do have other lives going on, but
Well, maybe you do.
well,
I don't really leave this office very much.
no, I was kind of relying on you for that other life business, but okay,
I play Dungeons and Dragons, which isn't a video game.
it's not a video game. That's
It's
right.
not a video game, no.
So
It's at least half of that.
it's at least half of that. At least half of a
It
video
is at
game.
least half of that, yeah.
Is it a video?
It can be depending on how you're playing it.
True. So the show,
Stop
video
saying
games
so.
and chill. Stop saying so.
Stop saying so. You can't just let things trail off into. Embrace the awkward silence, okay? Learn from Craig Ferguson. Embrace the awkward silence,
Okay. Okay.
and never resume things with so because you'll get picked up on it so easily.
That's true. That's true. There's
So-
stop. There's a very popular Yu-Gi-Oh YouTuber that I watch who says however all of the time, and I've never seen anyone in the comments pick up on it. But he's like, however, this card is very powerful. However, this card is very weak, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. However, this is not a Yu-Gi-Oh show, despite the fact that we've probably talked about Yu-Gi-Oh more than we've talked about video games so
That's
far.
true. That's true. Maybe it's because I'm looking at my background with Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Well, that's just sad. Well, Sam, what is this show going to be about? What are we up to? What are we doing? What void are we trying to fill?
We're
What is the
trying
reason
to.
why people should be watching this or listening to this or however they are consuming this media? Hopefully not nasally.
Do you reckon you could consume a podcast nasally? That might be
Yeah,
the future.
I've quite literally just come up with that. Just after I said it, I was like, no, that's possible. Save it onto a USB stick. Grind up the USB stick. Snort the USB stick.
Sounds good to
I mean,
me.
it wouldn't be pleasant. There are much better things that you could put up your nose. But
I wonder how a Switch cartridge tastes bad.
yeah,
I wonder how it feels up your schnoz.
I can answer that. When something you go out for an Indian and you have a curry and it tastes really spicy, and then it nasally, if you're uncomfortable enough to choke or something, and some of it goes up your nose and it's spicy in your nose, and then it's spicy in other areas later down the line. It's pretty much the same concept as that. It tastes bad, so it'll be snorty baddie.
I see. But it doesn't set your nose on fire.
Cannot confirm or deny that. I will have to try and get back to you.
The show is going to be about video games. At least for now. It's going to be about me and you. Two friends. How long have we been friends now? 8 years. We've been through that.
Go on, keep going.
I'm going.
You wanted to host. You wanted to host.
I'm hosting. Yeah, the show's going to be about two friends sitting down, shooting the shit about video games. And since I've just said shooting the shit, how do we feel about swearing on this
I'll be
podcast?
honest with you. It didn't come up beforehand, so I was just going to leave it to you because I know you're far worse than I am with that sort of thing.
let's
So
try.
I was just playing it by ear, and by ear, it sounds like yeah, it's happening. So
It was something I was going to bring up, and I absolutely forgot.
oh,
We've had 3 hours
I mean,
to bring this up, and
look,
we just
look,
didn't.
we're going to have to, cope with the fact that we are going to be the first people on the internet to ever swear.
That's true.
I mean,
And we might even be the first people on the internet to talk about video games. You've got to consider this possibility.
I was hoping that was going to go on longer than that, but okay. So yeah, we're going to be talking about video games that we've been playing, and then if we feel like it, and if we're going to keep on doing this, then we might get a guest, friends of ours.
I know.
I can certainly imagine at least 3 people that I could consider inviting to this sort of thing that would
I think there's.
provide a different insight.
I think there's some people that we both know who wouldn't mind coming on. I think there's at least one person that I know who would definitely be up for coming on.
Is it the tall ginger man?
We don't talk about the tall ginger man.
No, I'm talking about the other one.
Oh yeah, no, no,
Oh, okay.
um, no. It's not the other tall ginger man. He is
Okay.
taller than me, but that's not hard to do. He's
You
not
say
quite
that, but you're
ginger.
what, 6 foot, so
No, 5'10".
oh yeah, you are tiny.
Stop.
Uh,
So yeah, we're gonna be talking about video games.
shall we begin? Because I think that's just about the intro done.
I think that's just about the intro done.
I think that's about the intro done.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what have
so
we
how
been?
this is going to work is we're going to break this down into 3 different sections. It may be familiar to you if you've watched any sort of online information, funny thing that it revolves around anything really. So the first section, we're going to go over things that we've been playing this week. I warn you now, there is an awful lot of Animal Crossing talk coming, and I haven't even started. We haven't even started yet, and I
Yeah, I
already
was
know that.
just about to say there's one thing that me and you can both just talk endlessly on, and that is
I
countless
mean,
hours we both
before
put in
we go
Animal
off work,
Crossing.
I've got to get those nip prices. Um, then we'll move on to a section which we've designated the news, but I don't know.
I'm not sure how serious newscasters we will be,
It's
but
not going to be news. It's going to be more. Hey, this has happened. What do we think about this?
yeah,
Which over the last couple of days has gone from oh yeah, there's a couple of things that have happened to oh everything's going on right
everything's
now.
going on, and it's just out of nowhere. But we'll get to that.
And then the third part is what is currently labelled as discussion, but essentially, I think what is going to happen is we're going to alternate weeks in bringing topics to the show, and
Yeah, that's the
then
idea.
potentially, if we do end up, deciding to continue doing this and having guests on, then the guests can bring a topic which they would like to discuss.
If they would like
Uh,
that.
and this week's, month's, years topic, depending on the frequency of how we do it.
Decades.
We'll edit that in post. Will be it's sort of obvious given the information that's come out this week, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, it's relevant.
We
It's
don't
topical.
want to we want to clickbait you as much as possible. You won't believe what's at number 4. 75-year-old woman has a discussion with her neighbor about X. It led to Y.
My
The
favourite
answer to all of
clickbait
those is
articles.
always herpes.
Always herpes.
Always herpes. If you just never click on any of those articles and just substitute in herpes where the answer is supposed to be, your life will be so much more fulfilling.
I So me and my friend at work, we used to send each other clickbait headlines all the time, and our favourites were the ones that were like, "This celebrity used to look like this. Now you will be shocked."
Yeah, you see, herpes doesn't actually fit in there.
No,
And also, I'm
it
never
could do.
shocked because it's weird because the last one of those I saw was Bruce Forsyth, and I did believe what he looked like now, but it still made me sad.
Oh, oh no. We can't bring Brucey into this. Not with
For
the.
anybody outside of Britain that watches, listens, hears, sees, is offended by this, Bruce Forsyth is a British entertainer and pretty much the reason why television is as it is in Britain.
He's pretty beloved.
He is, yeah, yeah. And he didn't touch kids, which is great.
That is great. Like, I hope that. I hope nothing like that ever comes out. I know it
You touch
won't.
kids.
Yeah,
I mean, we did a pretty good job of silencing them, so it's fine.
yeah, that's true. There are
This might have
now
to get cut.
there are now a lot of mutes about.
Yeah, yeah. What a Wednesday that was. So, Sam, what have you been playing this week?
Should we start off with Animal Crossing? Should we both just start off with Animal Crossing?
You mean you don't want to leave it until last so that people keep on watching for our Animal Crossing critique? And whether or not we beat the big old boss guy with the one demon eye and the... Oh, wait, no, that's... Doom.
Have you got to the final boss of Tom Nook yet?
Are you kidding? Tom Nook is now a gravestone in my garden.
Oh my goodness.
I know, you've not been to my island in a while. It got dark.
I can imagine.
All of these people on Reddit and on the Animal Crossing forums posting all these delightful looking islands, and mine is just a barren wasteland filled with graves and dead animals and skeletons.
But do you still get new animals moving in?
Briefly. And then
Nice.
they join Nook.
Your face.
Well, I suppose that's one advantage to having video.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Unless we decide not to do video.
Yeah,
In the
this is
end.
one of those weird things where it's like, are we going to do video or are we not going to do video? We have no idea what's going to happen to this. For all we know, it's going to end up on Sam's hard drive and it's just going to stay there for months on end. Which, if you're hearing this, well done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If you're hearing this, either well done us for publishing it and publicising it enough for at least one person to hear it, or well done.
Or one moment, I have a message for if we don't manage to publish it. Damn it, Sam! Why did you do this? Why did you do that to us? Yeah, I know you're listening to it now and laughing up and cracking up. Imagine what would happen if we put it on the internet.
Ooh,
No, don't cry about it, Sam. No.
this is too
Quick, put me
real.
on full speaker. Xbox off.
Joke's on you. I don't have an Xbox.
Anymore. Or yet. Yet would have worked so much better
Yet.
there. Oh.
Anymore or yet?
Yeah, but you're definitely going to get the Xbox gamer tag, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, I never mentioned this to you. That's what I'm going to call it from now on, based on my realization the other day.
What's that?
Well, because the Xbox is the Xbox One is the Xbone.
Oh yeah.
The Xbox One X is the Xbone X,
Mm-hmm.
which looks like an Xbox gamer tag.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's no longer called the Xbox One X because that's far too long. It's called the Xbox gamer tag.
But
Or
the new
gamer
ones, the new one isn't called the Xbox One X.
Yes, it is.
The new one is the Xbox Series X.
It's not. It's Xbox One Series X, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm fed up of these naming
Let's use this
conventions.
magical thing in front of us called flamboyant typing. No, it is just the Xbox Series X.
Yep.
Well, that's just silly.
Yep.
Oh, and it also ruins my gamer tag joke.
I think their idea is with the Xbox Series X is to. But I thought this was the idea with the Xbox One to not have it be a name, but have it be like the iPhone, where you'll have the iPhone X and then the iPhone 11 and then the iPhone 12. I think they just wanted to reset the naming convention.
Yeah, but they wanted to do that when they called it the Xbox 360 as well.
Did they?
Yeah. I think they wanted to do that when they called it the original Xbox.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Is a box with an X on it? Oh, what should we call it?
Maybe they should go Nintendo's.
What is it? It's a cube that plays games. What should we call it?
Maybe they should go early Nintendo and just call it the Microsoft. What is it?
Entertainment system.
Yeah, the Microsoft Entertainment System, and then the Super Microsoft Entertainment System.
No, because that leads itself to too many negative press stories. Like, the Microsoft Entertainment System is a mess. MES.
Oh, yeah.
You want people to work hard for their slander.
How did we get from Animal Crossing to talking about this?
Because I mentioned about the Xbox gamer tag thing.
You certainly
And
did.
I don't know how we got to there. Oh, because I was slagging you off in the future because you never published this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's all your fault in the end.
It's got to be. But what are your thoughts on Animal Crossing so far? How many hours have you put into it?
Last time I checked, which was a couple of weeks ago, I was at 70 hours.
I have got my Switch.
And I'm fairly certain I've spent more than that since that point. Because I spent a good few hours chopping down trees and then planting trees in a tree grove so I could grow more trees. I probably should have just moved in the first place. But I didn't move them in the first place because I didn't know what I wanted to do with that area of the world. And then I decided what I wanted to do with that area of the world. And I'm now actually really happy with it. And you still haven't seen it because you still haven't been round.
I still haven't been round. No, I will do. I will do.
I know.
So
I've
got my Switch in front of me. You have played for... Hold on.
I'm going to go with 114 hours.
So it's not exact. It does it in increments of 5. But you've hit the 100-hour mark. You're 100 hours or more at this point. And I am 175 hours or more.
I was about to say I think that makes me a pro player, but I think no.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. How have you put 175? I suppose you've not played anything else, have you?
I have.
Whereas
little bits.
Since Animal Crossing came out, I've put 100 hours into that and 100 hours into Pokemon. So
that's true. And also, since Animal Crossing came out, you got a Switch when Animal Crossing came out.
Yes.
So you had a lot to catch up on.
I think I'm doing it. I'm going pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, I've put 25 odd hours into Mario Rabbids as well.
Cracking news.
Yeah.
Fantastic game as well.
Yes. You've got that 5-star rating on Animal Crossing, whereas I've only got a 4-star. Still. Yeah. But mine's now telling me to plant more flowers, and it's like, I don't want more flowers.
I feel like, looking at both of our islands, I feel like I've done more to mine. But the areas that you've finished look a lot more thought out than mine.
Oh, yeah, I've got an entire third of the island where I have no idea what I'm doing yet.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have come up with a concept, it's just whether or not I can do it.
Okay, I look forward to seeing it.
I want to build a brewery.
A brewery?
Yeah, because I got a recipe out of a balloon for a beehive.
Okay.
So I want to make like a honey beer brewery.
And so you want to make the beehive?
Well, there's going to be beehives there. Not the beehive in Newcastle.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I was thinking. The beehive in Newcastle.
No, because there is not enough sticky floor in Animal Crossing.
You can make sticky floor?
Or old racist people, or elderly women that Phil wants to bone. Although there probably is that in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, there probably is. We haven't.
I don't know. We'd have to ask him.
Yeah, we haven't spoken much about Phil on Animal Crossing. Have you? I haven't. Anyway, have you?
I've spoken to Phil about Animal Crossing. Just to clarify, Phil is a university friend. He was on my course and is a friend.
He's a good friend of both of us.
Yes.
He's played Animal Crossing for 5 hours, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think he gave up when he realised he'd have to pay for Nintendo Online.
Yeah. Say,
Meanwhile, he's played, I don't know, at least 8 hours of Halo Master Chief Collection on Steam this week. Yeah, that's right, Phil. I'm watching you.
we're both watching you, although I'm not, because I haven't logged into Steam this week.
I know where you live. I know where you live, Phil. I know where you went on a walk today. You went on a walk to Gosforth today. Yeah. How do I know that? Because you Snapchatted me. Oh, yeah.
We don't want to date this episode to Phil.
What? Okay.
We don't want him to know we're recording this on Saturday the 16th of May.
Round about 2:40 in the afternoon.
Yeah. We don't want that. We don't want that peek behind the curtain.
Definitely not. No. With
To all of our listener.
all of our listener. Yeah. Yeah. Who to them it is actually the year 2040, and I'm still pissed off that you haven't published this yet, Sam.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hi, Mum.
So, although, would you still have the same hard drive in 20 years' time?
Knowing me, probably.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Well, we've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, which apparently there's not a lot to talk about with Animal Crossing because you keep on going off on a tangent.
We both keep going off on tangents.
Yeah, but I'm blaming you.
Yeah, it's true.
What else have we been playing?
Hold on, I want to talk about Animal Crossing.
You want to talk about Animal Crossing?
Yeah, I want to actually talk about Animal Crossing.
Okay, talk about Animal Crossing.
Because I genuinely think it's the best one in the series.
Well, yeah, but that could be said for each of the previous iterations over the previous iterations.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's a series that
Do you think Wild World was better than the original?
Yes.
Oh, do you think City Folk was better than Wild? City Folk is the one.
I never played City Folk.
I never played City Folk. It's the one that I never hear anyone properly talk about.
Because it came out at a weird point.
Mm.
It came out shortly before the Wii U came out, I think.
It didn't.
If memory serves. And everybody was playing. Everybody got it when it was on 3DS.
Yeah.
And then City Folk just, from what I gather, just wasn't a big enough step up from New Leaf.
No, New Leaf was the last one. City Folk was between Wild World and New Leaf.
Was it?
Yeah, so we had the GameCube original, quote unquote.
I mean, if you want to talk the original, then
yeah,
that's
the
Animal
Nintendo
Forest.
64, yeah. Quote in the West, the GameCube original. Then we had Wild World for the DS, City Folk, which I believe was 2009 for the Wii. New Leaf was 2013, and then obviously New Horizons 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But you might be right. You might be right. But
who knows?
But when I say it's the best in the series, I don't think it doesn't feel as iterative as maybe for me New Leaf did from Wild World. It feels like
it's a step up and also a step to the side because they've added crafting and terraforming.
And to me, crafting is such an essential part to the game that I can't imagine playing Animal Crossing without it now.
No, definitely.
Like it just fits. It's such a new way to play the game, but it also fits right into how the game works.
It allows you much more flexibility. You are not just limited to the items that the Nooks are selling and the items that drop from trees and from balloons.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are able to, I already have so much more variety in terms of items than I ever did in any of the previous Animal Crossings, and this is 2 months after release.
Yeah, and just the number of options it gives you. There's
not just the crafting; it's the customization as well, because you can take existing items and then just apply essentially a skin pack to them.
What do you think about the tool degradation? Degradation?
Oh, you mean Animal Crossing Breath of the Wild?
Animal Crossing Breath of the Wild.
I'm okay with it because tools have always degraded.
One
I
tool is
don't
always
like
degraded. The
tools have
axe.
always degraded. Tools have always broken.
They've not.
They have. They have. It wasn't until you were able to get the gold tools that they then didn't break. And that's the problem which I've got, is that the gold tools are A, too difficult to get to unlock, and B, still break. They only have
I'm
double the durability of
I'm sure in old Animal Crossing games, fishing rods and nets and shovels didn't break. It was only
shovels
the
broke. Shovels broke when you smash them against rocks. Axes broke.
axes broke.
Uh,
Axes
I
definitely broke.
I believe fishing rods broke.
Hold on.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I will find the information. No, they didn't break.
No, that's what I mean. So that is a huge difference in the series.
Um, yeah. Okay. So the rods and the nets didn't break. But to be fair, catching 50 fish and 50 bugs—that's quite a lot.
I think it's 30 in New Horizons.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not, because if you're like me and you catch every bug you walk past, then that's
Yeah.
yeah. But do you not find that it always breaks at just the most
Just
inopportune time?
absolute wrong time.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I've got one piece of bait left and I've got one slot in my inventory. I've timed this perfectly. Oh, look, that catch has broken my
Yep.
rod.
Yep. But I don't mind the tools degrading.
Neither do I.
I've heard some people say that they don't mind the flimsy tools breaking, but they would rather the upgraded ones not break. I've heard other people say they don't want the golden tools to break.
I don't want the golden tools to break. I want there to be a reason why I've got golden tools. Gold nuggets. I get that they want a use for gold nuggets, but I'd be happy just using my nuggets on the golden toilet that I found the other day.
I want a golden toilet.
You want a golden toilet?
I do.
I'll make you one and send it to you. I'll be honest with you. My first thought with that was sending one to Rochelle, because pretty much when she got the day after we all got Animal Crossing, we'd all been on each other's islands, the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
She sent me a video, or it might have been on her Instagram story or something, of just because none of us knew about the toilet thing, and then we'd all found out, and there was just a video on a story. And obviously, I sent a message going, "Oh, I don't want to see you pooping." So yeah, my first thought was to send one to her, but I haven't. I don't even know if I can, because I don't think we're best friends.
You not?
I don't know.
It's a shame.
Be a bit weird.
Maybe.
I find it weird anyway, but let's not go into that.
Let's not go into that.
Hi,
Rochelle, if you are our one listener.
Oh, she'll be watching.
Oh yeah.
Also, can I just say, hey girl, how them nips? Because some of the creepiest conversations I've had about Animal Crossing have been with Rochelle, because I just message her going, "How are your nips today?"
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit less creepy when you do it with me.
I don't ever ask how your nips are. I just send you a number at the beginning and end of each day.
Yeah, which is always low. We never managed to get like the 500s, do we?
56 this morning.
I remember was it like the second week I bought turnips, something like that. I was watching them go down, and I was like, okay, it can't go lower than 40.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
then,
you were like, oh, it can't go lower than 30, can it? And it's like, no, it can,
and then
because you got 17 or something.
It was like 17 or 19 eventually, and day after day, I was just like, oh no, what am I gonna do?
Luckily, you've got plenty of friends that you can go to their island and sell, whereas I'm stuck with you and Rochelle. So,
what do you think to going online to people's islands, finding random people online?
I think it's fine. I think it's what the online connection was made for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the stories I've seen online of people saying, well, if you don't come and you don't bring X amount of valuable things,
Hmm.
then I'll kick you off and it'll just ruin it for everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
30,000 bells, 10 Nook Mile tickets.
See, 30,000 bells, that's fine.
Oh yeah, no,
You know,
it's
I would be okay with people going, hey, so I'm going to have my island open all day. If you want to donate to my bridge, that'd be fantastic.
mhm.
But there you go. It's an odd one. I don't know.
It is a weird one. It is a weird one.
I'm okay with them doing the. I'm okay with people going to other people's islands and
Mhm.
selling. I mean, that's always been a thing. It's just now it's more available because the online connection is so much more reliable.
Yeah, to me, it's not something I'm interested in doing because I kind of like rather than just hopping on Reddit and finding one. I kind of like that conversation that, as we said, me, you, and Rochelle have pretty much every day.
Yeah, yeah. I wake up and around about 8 o'clock, I'm on to Animal Crossing. I'll go and check how much my nips are. I'll send you a message, which is just a number,
Yep,
and then either I get a message back with a similar number, a lower number, a higher number, whatever, or a swear word.
it's usually a
And
swear word.
and then sometimes there's those days where it's 5 minutes to 9, and I get a message, and it's like, I'm coming to your island to sell. When I've hit three something, I think it was 380 or something that I hit,
Something like that.
and I had to leave my Switch on whilst I was working,
Hmm. There was
and I just had the Switch on during the whole of my morning meeting, just in the background, just muted so that people could come to my island, and then plant shelves all over the island because they knew I wasn't watching.
who did that?
Some bell end.
Yeah, yeah, it can't have been. I don't know, but I feel like with New Horizons more than any other entry, there's this whole community built around it, and I don't know whether it's because of the popularity of the Switch or just because of the pandemic situation at the minute.
I think it's always been there. It's just it's more prevalent now because obviously between 2013 and now, both of us have become more, I wouldn't say active, but aware of Reddit.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and obviously,
I
we're
think it
probably both
has.
on the Animal Crossing subreddit there.
I think it has
Um,
exploded in popularity though. I think all over Twitter people are talking about Animal Crossing New Horizons.
it's the now the highest selling game on the Switch in Japan,
See, that's
but
crazy.
it's always been a popular title over in Japan though. But you're right. It came out at the perfect point.
Hmm. The exact right time.
It's like, yeah, Nintendo couldn't have planned it better if they had released coronavirus.
We're
You
not
know,
we're not suggesting anything, but
no, I'm not suggesting anything at all. It's a case of, yeah, that there's a the only way Nintendo could have planned it better is if they had Godzilla invade New York carrying an Animal Crossing themed Switch
yeah, yeah.
and then climb the Eiffel Tower and sit on the top of it, swatting away at giant flying crabs. Because apparently I'm mixing like 3 or 4 different films.
Yeah, I'm getting the Godzilla and the climbing the Empire State Building, but where are the giant crabs coming from?
Giant flying crabs.
Where are the giant
Well,
flying
they were
crabs coming
supposed to be
from?
they were supposed to be planes, and I thought, well, no, I'll change them into flying something, and the something became crabs because that was the first thing that came to my head.
Did you have a Skyrim flashback?
That wasn't giant enemy crabs. That was a weird PS3 launch title that you can attack the giant enemy crabs for massive damage.
There
That wasn't
definitely were
Skyrim.
there definitely were big crabs in Skyrim.
Yeah, they're mud crabs in Skyrim.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They weren't flying. Flying things were
They
called
weren't.
dragons.
Oh, they weren't crabs in the sky.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time since we've both played vanilla Skyrim, but they were once upon a time dragons and not Thomas the Tank Engine.
Those mods were ridiculous.
those mods are ridiculous, and I still play with Thomas the Tank Engine as my dragon because there is nothing scarier than walking through a forest
Does
and
it
just
change the
hearing.
music?
I don't know whether it does by default, but I know mine does. Mine plays the Thomas the Tank Engine theme
Wonderful.
because if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah, you've got to go the whole hog, don't you?
I think mine has got the other engines in there as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So it's not just Thomas the
It's
Tank
not just
Engine.
Thomas. There's like depending on
Henry and there's the green one
James.
and the red one and then the
James is
fat
one.
controller. Of course, James is one.
Of course he is. James. Um, I had something to say then, and then it just completely went.
Was it about Skyrim or Animal Crossing,
I can't remember. Well, back to Animal
or
Crossing.
about Japan not actually being responsible for the coronavirus because that's a racist assumption that Japan and China are the same thing when in fact they're vastly different.
Yeah, I don't think we should put any hot takes out there.
Also, why is it called the West when America is actually east of Japan?
Because if you go west far enough, you still get to America.
Yeah, but if you go west far enough, you get to Japan as well.
It's true. Where's the cutting off point? Is it like 50-50?
No, it's based on the world map.
Okay. I didn't know that. My geography skills are very limited.
Yeah,
I
let's not go into whether or not maps are part of geography or not. Um, what else have you been playing this week, if anything?
I was
I don't
still
know whether I've seen you being playing anything other than Animal Crossing,
I
or are you
can't.
still wanting to talk about Animal
I'm
Crossing?
still wanting to talk about Animal Crossing because there's one thing I wanted to bring up, one more thing, and I'm sure this will come up in a future episode if we decide to do future episodes. Um,
There's an awful lot of uncertainty right now, isn't there?
there's an awful
And
lot of
not just in the
uncertainty.
world.
Now, in these uncertain times, we would like to assure you that nothing is certain.
And everything is permitted.
So with Animal Crossing New Horizons, as I said, it's like the it's definitely the best in the series. And as you said with the crafting, it makes it kind of a sidestep rather than just a straight line forward. It's for me, it's the least iterative one yet. And Nintendo keep releasing these bangers, essentially. Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey were both the best in the series.
Well, it shows what a development company can do when they've got a decent console to do it on. I mean, Nintendo originals have always been the best games on the console, and arguably each new version of a franchise staple has been the best one in the series. I mean, you'll always get the arguments that okay, Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda, or A Link to the Past is the best Zelda, or Mario 64 is the best Mario. Oh no, it's Sunshine. Oh no, it's Galaxy.
But
But
what about
they build up.
let's say Mario 3D World,
Which one?
the Wii U one?
I mean, I enjoyed Super Mario 3D World. It was a standard Mario game, but I wouldn't put that in as part of the core series.
See, I definitely would, because I feel like it was kind of so. Nintendo themselves have said that Odyssey is only the third open area Mario game, and
Yes.
the course clear ones are essentially Galaxy, Galaxy 2, and 3D World. Is that right?
Okay.
Am I missing anything there? No. Um, so when you say arguably each next game is the best game in its series, where does that one stand? Where does 3D World stand with that?
The problem with Mario is there's so many variations. You're right. You could differentiate between the course clear and the open world stuff. I enjoyed 3D World. I thought it brought a lot to the franchise. But I'm slightly biased because I really love the cat costume and the fact that you can climb up walls with it, and it's just like
But would you say it's better than Galaxy and Galaxy 2?
Yes,
Would you?
I would. Yeah, because it does things that Galaxy did better,
Okay.
but it's also not stuck thematically to the Galaxy. Oh yeah, here's a world. They've all got different types of gravity.
I feel like
Don't get me wrong. I loved Galaxy.
I
Absolutely
feel
loved
like
Galaxy.
Galaxy 2 wasn't stuck to that.
You see, that might be where I'm missing out because I never played Galaxy 2.
Right, okay. I feel like Galaxy. I feel like there's a toss up between fans of whether Galaxy or Galaxy 2 is better. And I think the consensus from a gameplay perspective is that Galaxy 2 has the better level design, the more creative levels. It's a bit more streamlined. Whereas I just love the atmosphere on Mario Galaxy.
Hmm. Oh, I love Mario Galaxy, and but the there's also the case of, do you include the fact that you can do co-op and more than co-op on Super Mario 3D World,
That's true. That's true.
whereas on Mario Galaxy the most amount of co-op you can do is somebody holding the Wii remote and going, "I'm gathering all these stars for you."
Same with Odyssey. The most you can do in co-op there is control the hat.
Yeah, which yeah, it's an odd one, but no. Back to your original point, Odyssey is probably the best Mario that there's ever been. Breath of the Wild is definitely the best Zelda game that there ever is, that there ever has been. Um,
But both
you
of
know,
those aren't.
Fire Emblem. I've not played it, but Fire Emblem Three Houses is from what I've seen, arguably the best Fire Emblem game there's ever
I
been.
adore Three
Smash
Houses.
Bros.
Three Houses.
Mario Kart 8 was already a fantastic game, and then they released it on the Switch, so it's still probably the best Mario Kart there's been.
Going back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, I've never played a Fire Emblem game before, and I'm about 30 hours into Three Houses, and that game's just fantastic.
Which house?
Uh, the one with Edelgard. I can't remember what the house is called.
Is it red, black, or blue?
Red. Because of course I
Okay,
went with the woman.
because there's three different stories running through that game.
Oh, I know. And how crazy is that?
Yeah, and each of them you could probably invest about 100 hours into.
I
But
think
I love Fire Emblem games. I loved Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS. I think that's probably my favourite 3DS game.
I think I think you'd really like Three Houses. The one
Oh, I will do when I get it because it's pretty much top of my list.
Now that we've moved on from Animal Crossing, apparently, and we're talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses, apparently, um, so for me, Fire Emblem Three Houses, the only thing it falls down on is that there seems to be a lot of downtime between the actual battles, and so you do a lot of time. You spend a lot of
Are
time.
you not doing that? Are you not spending that wooing your waifu?
I mean, I'm
Or
trying.
waifu, whatever it's called.
I am trying.
Because
But
in Fire Emblem Awakening, I spent that time trying to woo my waifu. I wooed my waifu, and now I have a daughter.
but in Fire Emblem Awakening, is that is that done just in menus?
Yes and no.
Because
I mean, there's the familiarity through battling as well, and
in Fire
but
Emblem Three
there's a lot of
Houses, the main thing that you're doing is outside of battling is going round this monastery, which is essentially the school, um, and you're building your relationships with the characters that way. And for me, there's sometimes when I really enjoy it, and you know I really want to do it, and I really feel like I'm getting the benefit of it. And there's other times where I feel like this all could just be in a menu, and it just takes ages walking from one side to the other, and it even
you
takes
could
time.
claim that with an awful lot of games, though.
That's true.
There's an awful lot of games where you could just go, oh well, all of this could be in a menu.
But I don't think it adds to the experience exploring the monastery to a certain point. Once you've like it starts to feel like busy work to me. And it's a really weird sort of, on the one hand, um, I really want to do it because there's only sort of a limited amount of time, and you've got a calendar that you have to stick to, and you can skip over some weeks if you want, or you can battle some weeks if you want. But I feel like I'm missing part of the game if I do that. But then I also feel like I'm not necessarily enjoying it when I do that. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but Fire Emblem has always been 50% dating simulator, 50% turn-based RPG.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't a new thing.
Right.
The fact that it is, you know, an open area that you can walk around, yeah, that might be slightly new. But if you don't, it doesn't force you into doing it. Like
It
you say,
doesn't.
it's
No.
a case of you do it if you want to do it, and there's always those superfluous things that you don't have to do in games, but you can do, like any of the side quests in any game ever. It's like you don't have to do them, but you'll get an experience through doing them.
That's true. That's true. But on the other hand, to that, if it's 50% of the experience, then are you missing out on literally half of the game and half of the point of the game? Is that a bad thing? Or if
I
you don't.
mean, if you choose to, nobody's forcing you to do it. Nobody's forcing you not to do it.
That's true. That's true. I
Let's
do.
let's for example take a game we've already talked about, Skyrim.
Mhm.
If you ignore all of the side stuff in Skyrim and just do the main quest, how long do you reckon it'd take you to complete?
Oh, I don't know. I've never completed the main quest in Skyrim.
If memory serves, the main quest is about 10 quests. The main quest line is about 10
Is it
quests.
about 5 or 10 hours long? Something like that.
Believe so, yeah. It's not long if you just focus on the story
Mhm.
content. But
Mhm.
so you take that story content, and if you say this stuff which you have to do to complete the game is just the game, then you can't just say, oh well, is that 50% of the game you're missing out on, because you've chosen not to do the side quests which are 95% of the game.
That's true. That's true. And also, I guess there's nothing wrong with missing out on content that you're not enjoying as well.
Yeah, nobody's forcing you to do these side adventures, and nobody's forcing you to miss out on. Nobody's forcing you to miss out on them. Nobody's
Mm.
forcing you to do them.
I
They are
think. I
they are
think.
optional.
Oh no, I know the problem is absolutely with me because the thing that I struggle with more is what is it? Um, I have kind of like a half completionist um, mindset while I'm playing games. So when I do explore the monastery, I'm trying to talk to every single person and look in every nook and cranny. And I think that is where I fall down because I end up making that choice but fatiguing myself. Does that make sense? So I just wanted to get your perspective because you have played previous games.
Yeah, and from a completionist standpoint, yeah, it is a beast of a game. But then again, from a completionist standpoint, so is a game like Skyrim. So is a game like Batman: Arkham City. You
Like
know,
Breath of the
if
Wild
you
that we've
yeah,
spoken about.
oh yeah, if you try and complete everything in Breath of the Wild, you'll go insane.
Mm-hmm. And the reason
But
there are like nearly 1,000 Korok seeds is because they're an optional thing. How many do you
yeah,
need for
and
the?
and also because you're supposed to stumble across them by accident.
Yeah, and you
But
only need about 400 or 500 to actually get
to actually
the.
max out your items, yeah.
Yeah.
But they want you to be able to max out your items.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to stumble across them. So there's so many that you've yeah that you will stumble across them.
Yeah.
It's the same with the shrines. You're supposed to stumble across the shrines, and
Mm-hmm.
again, the shrines completely optional.
Yeah, that's true.
The entire game is completely optional in Breath of the Wild. You could just start up, run, kill Ganon, done.
Yeah.
And people have.
The
People have killed Ganon in their underwear with a stick.
The two parts of the game that aren't optional are the Great Plateau, and even then, I think people have sort of sidestepped that issue already,
Yeah,
and defeating Ganon.
yeah, you can wall drop,
Hmm.
which is
Which is a perfectly valid way to enjoy the game.
yeah. I think the speed run record is about 12 minutes or something stupid like that, and I spent 12 minutes in the first section of the game. I don't mean the plateau. I mean the first little room of the game
Yeah,
where get your little shaker slate
knowing you,
and you
that
break all the
does.
boxes. I was just sort of like, nope, I'm taking all of this in. I'm looking at all of the runes and everything, and it's like, oh,
Knowing
it's
you,
so
that does
pretty.
not surprise me in the slightest.
It's so pretty, even though it's on the Wii U. And it means that whenever I go into a town, it chugs down to 12 frames a second. But I don't care because it's one of the best games I've ever played.
Oh.
Just means I don't spend time in towns, which is fine. I don't like people anyway.
What have you been playing, Dan?
Well, aside from the aforementioned Animal Crossing, I've been playing an awful lot of. I say an awful lot. I've been playing a bit of Pokemon still, having completed the game after 30 hours, and then said to you, "Yeah, there's probably not much to do in post game. I'm now up to 100 hours. I went through 50 something odd eggs trying to get an Adamant Farfetch'd, and then realised I had one of the new psychic Pokemon with Synchronize that was an adamant nature. So went out and just caught one.
Ridiculous.
Which is, it seems to have fit the hole in my team, which was lacking something. But yeah, I
So,
tried doing online battles for the first time yesterday, and I don't like how online battles go.
why not? What's up?
You have to pick three. So
Oh,
I've spent absolutely ages building a squad of 6 Pokemon I like that have covered each other's weaknesses. And then you go online and it's like, oh yeah, pick 3 of your 6.
is that in
Or
a
pick
sort
4
of is
for
that in a
double
sort
battles.
of best of three format, or is
Nope.
that just a singular battle?
That's a single battle where you pick 3 Pokemon and you've got 3 Pokemon versus 3 Pokemon.
That's very weird.
There are tournaments. There are in-game events that happen. One of them's happening at the end of the month, where it looks like it's going to be 6v6, which is what I'm, you know, what I wanted. Because at the moment, I don't have any way to trial my team and see where my weaknesses are, other than using a certain online tool that I'm not going to name because Nintendo are watching this definitely.
Mm. That's
Um,
our one viewer,
that's our one
Nintendo.
viewer. It's just you know it's not even Nintendo. It's Reggie. Reggie, even though he's retired and moved on to another company, he's just sat there and he's just going to call up Nintendo Japan and go, yeah, no, it's Reggie. Yeah, they're talking about that thing online. Shut it down.
Wouldn't you love to have a beer with Reggie?
I'd love to have many things with Reggie, like a 5-minute conversation.
Well, that's what I mean.
Sam, I've been drinking with you. There's no way you can drink a beer in 5 minutes.
That's true. That's why I want a beer with him.
Oh, so it has to be longer.
It has to be an hour conversation rather than a 5 minute.
Yep.
There we go.
Oh, you want a night out with Reggie? I wonder how long that would last.
I think me and Reggie would be best friends.
I think he'd be like most of your friends and just give up on you after 10 minutes.
Most of my uni friends.
You say that, but maybe your home friends just aren't as blunt as we are.
No, I think they're just different.
I think they are just different. So yeah,
Speaking,
I've been doing Pokemon and doing my breeding to get my perfect squad, which I've now got 17 members of my perfect squad. So work that out.
just going back to
Uh,
that online issue where it's 3v3. And
it's not an issue. It's a standard thing that they've been doing for ages. It just irritates me that I can't say that there isn't a section that is 6v6.
but just going back, yeah, that's what I mean. Going back to that where there are events that might be six v six. in the future coming up, or there might have been events that are 6v6. I remember on Titanfall, they did sort of like special timed events where there'd be a new mode for a week, or I can't remember exactly how long. And there was one without Titans, and so it was just the pilots you were playing as. So it was just like a Call of Duty game, but with Titanfall mechanics, essentially.
So essentially, it was called Fall.
Called what?
Fall. No
Yeah,
Titans. Fall.
yeah, that's it. Fall.
Ba-dums.
But you don't fall out of the Titans.
No, but the Titans fall.
But you don't fall.
I mean, you would do if there were no Titans.
That's true. If they just suddenly disappeared.
Yeah, Titanfall was great. I love Titanfall.
Yeah, but my point was that I loved that game mode. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed just the simple mechanics of being on the ground and shooting without having to worry about the Titan mechanics. And I kind of lost interest after that. After that wasn't a thing anymore because it gave me a taste of something I really enjoyed and then took it away. So, what do you think about that in online games, events like that, like you say in Pokemon?
Yeah, I mean, it's it gives developers a way of testing modes, definitely, because that Titanless mode made its way into Titanfall 2.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, because you've not played Titanfall 2, whereas I've played a significant amount of Titanfall 2, and yeah, it's good, and there are some good things that have come out of it, like Griffball in Halo and Infection on COD, Gun Game in COD. So yeah, and it adds variety. It adds something a little bit different.
But when it's something that you feel like should be in the game,
Why?
I don't know. I always think
I mean, there's nothing stopping them adding it post release these days. I mean, games are essentially a live service at this point.
yeah,
It's like you look at a game like StarCraft 2, which has been out since 2010, and the way StarCraft 2 is right now is nowhere close to how it was released.
mm-hmm.
I mean, even with Legacy of the Void 5 years ago, there's still a vast difference between the release of Legacy of the Void and the release and the how it is.
Yeah,
today.
the current state of the game.
Yeah,
I just think I'm stuck between the two, where I like the variety and the fact that it's a time limited event does mean that it drives up interest in the game. There are news articles about the game, so they're still being spoken about. I just think that more variety is always a good thing. It's like the argument against Splatoon's map rotation is always that, if they're playing for an extended period of time, just playing on two maps gets tiring. Or you can't just jump in and play a certain game mode on a certain map because they're rotating all the time.
Yeah, but the counterpoint to that is that if you had all of these game modes all going at the same time, it would split the player base.
It's true.
Which means that matchmaking times would be a lot slower. In terms of map rotation, that comes down an awful lot to, I mean, I could speak to this referring to StarCraft again. StarCraft has got 7 maps in the pool at any one point, and they rotate every season. And by rotate, I mean normally they get rid of 4 or 5 of the maps and then put new ones in. And map rotation isn't a problem, because one of the things which I find is the biggest hurdle to playing online shooter games, definitely, is a lack of knowing the maps. And I've thought that for a while. I could buy the new Call of Duty right now, and Actually, no. If I bought the new Call of Duty right now, I'd be able to jump in right now because I believe most of them are just remasters of old versions.
Yeah, I think so.
But that was always the problem because Call of Duty and to a lesser extent Battlefield are yearly releases. It's either you get in at the first hurdle or get in at first release and
everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Everyone's, no one knows anything, then everyone's learning things.
Yeah, or you jump in 6 months down the line and everybody knows the kinks of each of the maps and you are just outplayed and outmaneuvered.
Mm-hmm.
And, a map rotations fixes that. And it's the same in games like Counter-Strike at the moment. Counter-Strike does map rotation.
Okay.
Both online and in tournaments. To a lesser extent, and to a lesser severity. But what I think should be happening is if you're doing the map rotation, fair enough. But if you want to play with friends, then you can load up the map and the mode which you want to play.
Yeah, that's the
but
same.
matchmaking should have, if you're going to do that, matchmaking should have a certain map rotation.
Yeah, I think that's a good balance, to be honest. So where does that fit into the Pokemon argument then?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
The argument which you were making was different to the Pokemon argument. The fact that there's it's an explicit tournament for Pokemon that's coming.
For 6v6.
6v6, yeah.
But what I'm saying is
that's the end of season tournament for May.
What I'm saying is, if you always had the option to jump online with friends and do 6v6,
then it would split the player base.
Even if it's with friends.
Oh no, with friends you can do it 6v6.
Oh, you can already.
Yeah. It's only the online ranked mode and casual mode, I believe, where it forces you down to either 3v3 or 4v4 if you're doing doubles. And that's the same with the Battle Tower. The Battle Tower is also 3v3, and it's designed to streamline things and to shorten games, which is fine. But given that ever since Pokemon's inception, it's always been you have a squad of 6. It's sort of I don't like it because I build my squads in 6s. I don't build them in 3s.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of falling down on the whole thing.
But they've got
competitive doubles has always been 4v4 though, hasn't it? I believe. Yeah.
I believe so. Which again, fine, but I don't build doubles teams. It's just, where my interest lies.
Yeah. Good point. Anything more you want to say about Pokemon? Now that we've gone off on a huge tangent again. We're good at this, aren't we?
Not really. That was quite a healthy discussion about Pokemon and online modes. No, I mean it's just it's Pokemon. It's the same old, but with slightly more disappointment this time round.
But you still put 100 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. I can't complain. I've put 100 hours in.
You've put as much time into Pokemon, which you say you're disappointed with, as into Animal Crossing, which we've agreed is the best in the series.
Yeah, but they're different games, and I can still enjoy a game whilst being disappointed with it. I'm disappointed that it isn't what it could have been. If this game had been on the 3DS, I'd be fine. Okay. But because it's on the Switch, because it's on a much more capable console, it's just not what it should have been, given the power and the development time that they had.
Knowing what you know about me and how I enjoy the franchise, do you think if I picked up either Sword or Shield,
I think you'd be in a similar boat to you were with Sun and Moon.
Well, I enjoyed it while I was playing it and then just put it down.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair play.
Yep.
You know where I'm at with Pokemon. I would love if they just went full Octopath Traveler with it and went back to pixel art.
Yeah.
Or sprite based.
I mean, it's a 3D Pokemon game. It's a game that everybody's wanted for as long as they've, been playing Pokemon. But it's just not what it could have been.
No, it's less.
There are so many. I've said this to you. There are so many features which I look at it and I was like, "This is fantastic. I'm so glad they've added this." And then there's little bits where I'm there and I'm like, well, that's just stupid. Why is that like uh the B button to pick the negative option?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always been in every single Pokemon. You hit
Absolutely.
A for yes, B for no. You know, do you want to learn this move? No. Are you sure? Yes. Some menus it works, some menus it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what?
Yeah. Some menus it works, some menus it doesn't. Like, for example, do you want to learn this move? B, 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 B. Oh, yeah, I actually have to move the cursor and select it.
That's
Yeah. And
that's
it's really
ridiculous.
inconsistent. It's really inconsistent as to where it happens as well.
Oh,
But
I've
and then if we're going down this route, there's obviously the fact that they've got cutscenes, which is fine, but they're still text-based cutscenes. But the lips move as if they are speaking, so
mm-hmm.
you have to sit there for the length of time it would take to say the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it completely smacks of, hey, we're gonna have voiceover in this game, and then somebody higher up in management goes, oh well, we don't want to spend money on that, and then the dev team are like, but we've already got all the animation sorted. Oh well, we don't want to spend money on voice actors.
God.
Oh well, we'll just leave it as is. Nobody will care.
The reason I didn't buy it,
Just leave a
and
cursor on the screen in the final credits. Nobody will care.
you know the reason I didn't buy it is because it just seems like such a lazy game to me.
There are aspects of that. Yeah, it does smack of so many corners cut.
Mm-hmm. That's the one. It's the biggest multimedia franchise in the world, and I know the games aren't might not be like the driving force behind it anymore. It's merchandising and it's TV and it's films and it's everything. But the games are what started it, and the games are still what push it forward.
Yeah. Did you see the issue which they had a couple of weeks ago with the anime,
No, what
where
was that?
they've been? I believe there's been a lawsuit raised in Japan against them for advertising breaches.
Oh, I did see
Because
that
because there was a Pokemon in the anime that isn't available in
in
Sword and
Sword and
Shield.
Shield. Yeah.
And of course, the anime in Japan is flanked opening, closing, and in the ad breaks by, hey, buy Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Mm-hmm.
the game which this anime is based off of.
I mean, the anime has always
They
just been
included
an
it
advert,
in
hasn't
a.
it?
Oh, it's just remarkable how ridiculous some of these things are. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, no, we're going to do this for X, Y, and Z, and then they include something catchable in the Galar region in the anime that isn't catchable in the Galar region on in the
On the
games,
games, yeah.
and it's like, well, there's no consistency.
No, no, I don't know.
It is a decision that was obviously made for the wrong reasons, and nobody knows what those reasons are. But whatever the reasons are, it was stupid.
Hmm. Even the stuff like because they were saying they wanted to bring more balance to the game and stuff like that, and more balance to the multiplayer,
But
make it more competitive.
they leave in Shuckle.
But leave aside that, what they did in Sun and Moon, they pretty much fixed this issue. You're still allowed to import any Pokemon you want from the previous games in Sun and Moon,
Yep.
but only Pokemon from the Sun and Moon Pokedex are available to be used online. Like,
No, not true.
is that not true? I'm sure that was true for the first games.
Only
Or was it
only
in
Pokemon
tournaments?
only Pokemon that have been bred and hatched on Sun and Moon, within Sun and Moon, can be used in official tournaments, I believe. So they
Okay.
have to have the little star next to them. So you can't transfer things like illegally caught Arceus, and
Mhm.
you're illegal, but still, you know, buy the game valid shiny Mewtwo with perfect IVs
Right.
from
Okay.
wherever it is you got it,
Yeah.
and then use those in an online context.
Mhm.
You have to use things that have been caught in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and it's the same with Sword and Shield.
Sort of with the thing that like security is tied to this time. Essentially, there at least at first there are less things for people to exploit to get those right.
I don't know. It
That would be the mindset that
just
I'd
just
have.
the, just the way in which it's happened, and the fact that there are so many different reasons for why it's happening leads me to believe the rumor which sprouted before release that that whatever importer they were using to transfer across the all of the information broke or didn't work properly and ended up just disallowing so many different Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
I didn't hear about that in so much detail, but I heard something like that. But surely for a franchise of that's that huge, surely that's not an excuse anymore.
oh no, there is no excuse for any of it.
No.
And there is so many examples within the game of corners being cut that it's just
The
you
famous
know
one being the legendary animation, where it literally just pivots the model in a cutscene.
no. These are brand new animations that they've spent all of their time doing.
So ridiculous. And
And the fact that they can't even get the howls to line up with the dogs moving their mouths, and I thought by the time I played it, 6 months down the line, they'd have fixed these with, patches. Nope.
absolutely not.
Uh, and yeah, it's and the fact that they've removed moves, and if you look at the list of moves, it's all the ones that would have required, sort of a little bit additional programming,
Mm-hmm.
like pursuit.
Yeah.
Pursuit has to detect if something is leaving, and then if it's leaving, it hits them for double, which is fine, which is a great move.
Yeah.
One of the core competitive moves,
mm-hmm.
and they just dropped it.
Ridiculous.
And things like Sonic Boom, which has a set damage of 20, just gone because it would have required additional programming. I don't know whether it is because of that, but
it's the fact that
it looks that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good.
Correlation doesn't equal causation all the time, but there is a strong correlation.
But when the evidence is as insurmountable as this, you've got to start looking at it in that sort.
Absolutely. And I just can't believe I can believe that they performed as well as they did. To be honest, it's Pokemon. It's always going to.
Don't get me wrong; they are fantastic games.
They are.
Yeah, they are great games. They are great games. The story is so much better than Sun and Moon. The characters actually have loose character development. Some of my favorite characters from the Pokemon games are in this game. Fair enough. Hop is just Howl with a slight color change.
Literally.
Like... there are so many aspects of this game that are great. Like the sound, the audio is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack is brilliant. The art design is fantastic. It's the big things.
Some of the new Pokemon I think look great, and some of the Galarian forms look fantastic. Like when Weezing was announced, I was all over it.
Are you kidding? When Wooloo was announced, we were all over it.
Oh, Wooloo. The whole internet was all over Wooloo.
Yeah. And it's like that it smacks of middle management getting involved. Too many cooks spoil the broth. I feel like there's probably, I don't know what the infrastructure is at Game Freak, but I get the feeling that there are too many people that have been progressed through to management roles, and there are too many managers reporting to managers, because this is the exact sort of thing that comes with that sort of thing. There are so many departments that have done well in this game, like the writing team, the audio team, the art design team, and then the where it falls down is the graphical side of things, which will probably have been put down to the fact that the time constraints were so strict on it. Some of the higher up decisions that have been made, for whatever reason why that they were made, is and it's just
To me, it's
Yeah, so
disappointing.
so much of
It's
it could be fixed with a bug patch.
uh, that's that's really depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like they didn't have a proper QA team
Hmm.
because you know
I've
the
heard.
game itself is great, but
So that's an interesting point you raise about QA about not having a proper QA teams. So when Game Grumps played through, was it Sonic Boom? Was the really awful one? Um,
what do you mean was the really awful one? There's several of them.
well, yes,
Sonic 06 is creme de la creme of
creme de la
shite.
creme of shite Sonic games, but the
Oh,
game.
how do you make a Sonic 06? Well, you take this ball of shite, put it in there, add a little creme, and and pour it over the Xbox.
But when Game Grumps were playing through that, they I remember them saying a lot of things about the quality assurance. Basically saying like, wasn't this game quality assured? Who's done this? You know, all that business.
I do
Um,
wonder if it's maybe a cultural thing.
well, then
Although,
apparently
although saying that, Bethesda, ignore me.
Bethesda. That's true. But apparently, oh, and I think the whole joke was like when they were looking at when they were watching the credits and talking over the credits, the quality assurance came up, and Dan said so. Dan was just like quality assurance, like that's not a thing in this game. And then
It all
one
depends
of
on what the
the
QA team are told.
pardon,
The fact of the matter is, things could be so. Sorry to cut into your analogy. Quality assurance could have done their job properly, uh,
well, no, this is
and reported bugs. But if the QA report gets to somebody in management and they go through and they highlight the things which are important to them
mhm.
to fix, and they end up highlighting none of them, then that's not the QA team's fault.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Apparently, one of the quality assurance team on Sonic Boom reached out to them and basically sent them an email and said, "Look, we did actually do our jobs, but
Yeah,
we flagged up all of these issues and none of them were none of them were fixed."
yep. QA only works if you listen to the QA team,
Hmm. Yeah.
which it's obvious that there are aspects of Pokemon Sword and Shield where they didn't listen to the QA team.
Hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
the menu situation that I was saying, where there are certain contextual menus where pressing B would select the negative option and has done for the whole of Pokemon. That would require probably a change of 2 lines of code.
Hmm.
Speaking as a software developer who has recently made a similar change in a live system.
Speaking as someone who is not a software developer, I believe you.
Good to know. I just wanted to clarify that for our one viewer so
Yeah.
that, Nintendo can come and poach me from my current role, which I kind of probably would still turn them down at this point.
You would?
Yeah, I'm enjoying my job at the moment.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm
I have,
enjoying I'm
I have
enjoying
to
my
say that
job.
in case anybody from work is watching.
Okay. Well, in case anyone from work is watching, I really enjoy my job, but if Nintendo offered me a job, I would hand my notice in and work the notice period.
It's very professional of you. Congratulations. Okay, so shall we take this moment to pause?
Yep, I'm gonna
Let's
hit
have
pause.
let's have a break. I'll put something entertaining in here in post. So the donkey said,
No, no, we're live.
"Oh, I'll
Shh,
tell you that story later."
shh. Is there anything else you've been playing, Dan, that you want to talk about?
Uh, what have I been playing? I've bought Final Fantasy VII this week, and I've played about 3 hours of that.
Final
Um,
Fantasy VII Remake, or
no, I don't have a PlayStation 4.
okay.
I will get the remake when it comes out on PC later this year, but no, I bought the original because I've been watching somebody play through the remake, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to play this again. And I got 3 or 4 hours into it in 2 different playthroughs. It's clunky and old, and still pretty good, but still clunky and old.
Hmm. Looking forward to the remake?
I mean, the remake is out. I'm looking forward to playing it myself, yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But given that I don't know where it stops yet, because the person I'm watching hasn't got to the end of it yet, so for all I know, it's the whole damn game. But as far as I can tell, based on the internet, it's not even the first disc. So
No, it's not. As far as I've never played Final Fantasy VII.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, I would place 6 and 10 and 12 and probably 15 at this point above it.
Okay. Is that in hindsight, or is that like
No, that's playing it when they're in vogue.
Okay, so
when they're released and when they're.
So you think Final Fantasy 15, when it was released, was better than Final Fantasy 7 when that was released?
I think that Final Fantasy 15, when it was released on PC, was a better game than Final Fantasy 7 when it was released on PlayStation.
Fair
yes,
point.
I am clarifying my answer very much so.
I did actually need that clarity.
Yeah, because I played through Final Fantasy. Right, so I watched the same person play through Final Fantasy 15, and then I went and played through it myself, and I still have 70 odd hours on Final Fantasy 15 on PC.
God,
because it is that good a game, and I really enjoyed it. And it was, I don't know whether it was because it was so much better than 13 and 13.2 and 13.4. Electric Boogaloo Lightning does a new thing with her hair that may or may not be the thing from When Harry Met Sally, but we don't know. Hang on, is it When Harry Met Sally? No, that's a different thing. What's the one with Cameron Diaz?
I do not know.
Excellent.
Wait,
tell us in the comments.
Cameron Diaz and who? Who was the fella?
Ben Stiller.
Yeah,
no,
I was going to say.
No.
If it's Ben Stiller, what is that? What is that film called?
Let's Google Cameron Diaz.
Is it there's something about
something about Mary?
Something about Mary. That's it. That's the one.
Ah, okay. And it is Ben Stiller.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. When Harry Met Sally, that is a completely different film.
I thought so. So have you got?
Hey, I do popular culture.
I do not, apparently.
Right.
Have you got any thoughts on Final Fantasy VII?
It was the 7th Final Fantasy, which, much like the iPhone 7, was not actually the 7th Final Fantasy.
Nope.
The remake is pretty. The remake is gritty. The remake does a hell of a lot more with the backstories of characters that I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
And, Tifa is always best girl, no matter what game she's in. She's probably one of the bestest girls that has ever been a girl to best.
Do you think, from what you've seen, do you think the new content is stretching the old content out, or do you think it's all worthwhile stuff?
Oh, there's an awful lot of filler,
mm-hmm.
but it was filler that could be put in there. It's all world expanding, it's all world building, it's adding a lot more information to what is a relatively low information part of Final Fantasy VII lore. There's an awful lot more information about what Midgar is and how it functions, and the slums have been expanded from what is essentially 3 screens in Final Fantasy VII to a big old fucking area in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It looks fantastic, mostly. It looks like a fun version of the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair play.
Although, to be fair, the video I watched last night of the person who I'm watching play through it.
Who are you watching play through it?
I am not saying. I'm not giving another person views from our one-person viewer, Nintendo. We have one viewer. It is Nintendo. Oh, no. Are we going to say that our one viewer is just Reggie, just in a hotel in a bathrobe?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely
And
brilliant.
he's pondering because he now works at GameStop. I think he's
Does he?
pondering whether to show his GameStop colleagues.
So what I'm imagining here is he's not lying on the bed. He's lying on, you get like a table and two chairs.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's got a laptop on the table, and he's got his feet up on the bed, sitting on one of the chairs.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And next to his laptop, just built into the laptop, is a big old Nintendo branded big red button.
And as soon as he presses it,
He watches things on, and then as soon as he sees something that could be detrimental to Nintendo, he just goes.
oh,
And it
oh,
what is
detrimental to Nintendo. I thought,
more, more
I thought
positive?
that, I thought the direction you were going was as soon as he pressed that button, we both got job offers.
No, 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 no. It's obviously he's watching it, and he still has love for his old company. So he presses the big red button, and what it does is it just grabs the URL from whatever it is he's watching and fires it off to Nintendo. Just whoever it is that's his busy mate at Nintendo. Let's go with it. Fires off an email to Miyamoto, who alerts the Mario brothers, who are real people, but they're not plumbers. They are ninjas.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, the stuff they get up to in the games, they're not real plumbers, are they? Plumbing is very much a side job for them.
From what I've seen of plumbers, they are not plumbers, apart from the things that I've seen of Mario and Luigi, where they certainly pretend to be plumbers, which I don't want to talk about because we don't go on that version of the internet
We
anymore.
do not.
But yeah, that's what I'm imagining our one viewer is. It's just just Reggie there, just little bit of chest hair showing, just in a fluffy dressing gown. Maybe he's got a whiskey in the hand or a glass of red wine, and he's just lying back and watching random videos on the internet just to make sure that nobody slags off Nintendo too much.
Mm-hmm. He's watching everything.
He's watching everything. He is just Omni Reggie. He's got like glasses that have got different screens in them and everything. But the main thing is on the laptop.
Yeah, and it's
So that's our one viewer.
That's our one viewer. Anyway,
sorry, Reggie. We'll get back to the show now. Please don't press the button, Reggie.
thank you, Reggie. Unless it means we both get jobs, then please press the button, Reggie.
That's not what that button is. That's not what that button is. So yeah, I like the direction that they've gone with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and because it's a remake, they're allowed to go in that direction. In terms of how the story is panning out, there are definitely some weird things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily the fact that Sephiroth, who normally in Final Fantasy VII doesn't appear until about a third or halfway through, depending on how much you're playing, sort of peaks up in sort of weird flashback, flash sideways, flash forward, lost bollocks kind of ways, and it's like, okay, well, that's weird. What the hell's going on there? Normally he's only mentioned by name. You don't actually see him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Although, as far as I can tell, there's not been a rendition of One Winged Angel yet. So I'm hoping that they resisted the urge to do that in what is essentially the first episode.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Like, I've never played
It would
Final.
be nice. I know full well that I'm going to get to the end of it and I'm going to be like, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did that. Why is One Winged Angel in there?
I've never played Final Fantasy VII, but I'm pretty sure I understand the significance of Sephiroth and One Winged Angel. Like,
Sephiroth is the big bad guy with a big bad sword.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not compensating for something down below. Trust me, it's the same area of the internet that I found the Mario and Luigi plumber stuff.
Listen, Dan, we've said shit on this podcast, but we're not going that far down.
That's what she said. Other than Final Fantasy VII, which I dipped into, I've recently purchased and started playing Borderlands 3, which is a Borderlands game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just more of the same.
It's funny. It's, enjoyable. I'm glad they spent a long time in between releasing the pre-sequel to releasing 3, because it means that I'm no longer worn down on Borderlands content.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guys are amusing, and I don't know which direction they're going to go in because I thought they were going in one direction and they went completely the other. I've only put 30 hours into it, so I'm barely touching the story as far as I can tell. But
How long are those games usually?
No idea.
No.
They're RPGs
Yeah.
based on the number of side quests you do and how quickly you power through the main story. A lot of those 30 hours was doing at least one of the pieces of DLC because I thought, well, no, I'm going to go here because it'll give me lots of money.
Why
and
not?
It did. Because it was a casino. And I was like, I'm going to go to the casino. And I did not regret it in the slightest.
I might have to buy Borderlands 3 and its DLC and start a new game with you.
Yeah, you're a bit late on that. If you'd have thought this yesterday, you could have still got it for the discounted price.
It'll go on sale again.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, there's plenty of games I still need to buy.
Indeed. And then, as well as that, I have been playing Ace Combat 7.
Never played an Ace Combat game.
Which is a fighter sim.
Yeah, it's a plane fighter, right? Plane shooter.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
It's great when I've got my surround sound headphones on and I just, I play using controller because, I don't have a flight stick.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of times where I've blown up a plane and then flown through the explosion and then I've, in real life, gone, what? Oh, just out loud, not realizing. Oh, it's so good. Although I haven't unlocked the F-35 yet, and that upsets me.
Is it all online?
No.
No.
No. It's not a multiplayer game. It's a single player game.
Oh right. Okay.
I mean, there are multiplayer aspects to it, and I'll probably get to that at some point, and then die horribly, because I guarantee my reactions and reflexes and the way I play the game is not going to be conducive to a multiplayer atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care. I get to fly pretty planes and shoot things.
As long as you're having fun.
I am very much so. It's such a good game, and I'm glad it's on PC because it means I can run it at 60 FPS.
Fantastic.
I think I'm actually running it at 72. I don't know.
Your video card's still holding up then?
My video card is running that on Ultra, yeah.
Fantastic.
To be fair, it's a 2-year-old game.
Yeah. But
I think.
I think as we transition into the next console generation, I think both of our video cards might start to suffer a little bit.
I mean, if Epic are to be believed in that the solid state drive on the PS5 is so far and above anything that is on PC, it might not be the graphics card that you need to worry about.
Fair play.
Because as texture resolution goes up, you're going to need something that's going to be able to move those textures from the hard drive to the graphics card quick enough.
Yeah.
So you're always limited by something.
Yeah, you're always bottlenecked somewhere.
Yeah.
And essentially at that point, I'm guessing it wouldn't just be the SSD, it'd be the motherboard, right? Because it'd need...
Yeah, I mean, they'll be using state-of-the-art motherboards anyway, and they'll be. It wouldn't surprise me if they had custom motherboards that pumped the SSD straight into the graphics card.
Yeah.
But architecture. I don't know much about that.
Me neither.
I don't do that. I do clickety clackety on the keyboard. I don't do the. I don't even know what this would be. The screwdriver.
You don't screwdriver your hand often.
No. But when I do screwdriver my hand, it's 100%.
I'm glad to hear it.
Have you been playing anything else other than Animal Crossing, or are we really just basing this entire section on things that I've played?
No, I've talked about Fire Emblem.
Very true, very true. I forgot about that.
And Animal Crossing.
It bored me and I must have fallen asleep.
Yeah, must have done. It must have just been. He must have just been subconsciously replying to me.
Maybe.
I've also been. So I'm working on a little article / blog post, whatever you want to call it, for my website on. I think I've told you about this on arcade games.
Sam, this is the point to plug your website for our one viewer, Reggie.
My website Reggie and Nintendo is
Reggie,
Samuel.
Reggie, please go to that website and push your big red button on it because I think Nintendo need to see it.
Is samuelcarmody.co.uk or Carmody as it is called, but
I was
Carmody
going to
is
say that's
easier
not
to
how you
spell.
pronounce your surname, and I'm fairly certain of that.
No, but it's easier to spell when you say that. So it's
Uh,
Samuel.
if you're watching slash listening to this on YouTube or SoundCloud, we'll put that in the doobity doo down below.
Yeah, we'll put it all in the description. But it's samuelcarmody.co.uk, and I write about video games at the minute. But I might be doing stuff about powerlifting and food and all that good stuff. But anyway, so I'm writing a little article about sort of arcade games as a genre rather than as a physical arcade station.
Yep.
Arcade station is not a term. So I've been playing on the Switch Ollie Ollie, which I played through on the PC, and I started playing the sequel years ago, and I absolutely adore those games. They're fantastic.
See, I thought you were going to go down the Streets of Rage 4 route. I thought you were going to go. So I've been playing Streets of Rage 4 because that's relevant.
No.
It has been a game that has been out for longer than time itself.
Dan, you know me. I'm not relevant. I looked at Streets
That's
of
why we're doing
Rage 4.
this, because recording videos about video games is so 2003.
But I looked at Streets of Rage 4 and I thought, not for me. I want something older, but not old enough to be retro. Just old enough to be in that sweet, irrelevant spot. So I picked up Ollie Ollie. And it was on sale, which helped. But it's just such a fantastic. It's almost a blend of a skateboarding game and a 2D platformer. Have you ever played it?
I'll be honest with you, I think that's pretty much the only description you'll ever need of that game.
Okay.
The only other thing I would potentially add is that it's like a 2D Trials
Maybe.
with a skateboard.
Yeah. It's got the control scheme is pretty unique, where you perform tricks or any jumps just using the analog stick, and the shoulder buttons will add a little flair to it every now and then you just land with usually the A button, but it's the B button because it's on the Switch. Yeah, and I just love it. The article I'm writing is all about sort of how quick and fast paced arcade games are, even if they're not strictly like action games. And so, just the fact that you constantly fail in Ollie Ollie, like have you played it?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So for me anyway, I can be on a level just time and time again replaying it, and I'm just constantly failing and failing and failing. But the thing that makes that okay is the fact that it's just one button to retry it, and you just load up instantly. There's zero downtime unless you want it. You know?
Yeah,
And
which is very arcadey.
very arcadey, very arcadey. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to hitting the sequel as well.
Sorry, have to throw that in for our sponsor, not sponsor.
Our sponsor, How I Met Your Mother.
No, that was ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Oh,
McDonald's.
oh. I thought you were going for
Because they need more promotion.
McDonald's need all the promotion they can get in these
Yeah,
uncertain
and
times.
apparently they use the How I Met Your Mother theme tune.
Ba 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 McDonald's. Um, but on the arcade sort of line of thinking, I've also been playing Tetris 99, and so I I didn't pick it up when it was released. I didn't pick it up. I didn't start playing when Nintendo first released it. I didn't start playing when I finally got a Nintendo Switch Online membership with Mario Maker 2. And I don't know why I started playing it this time, but it kind of sparked me to start writing this article, so I'm glad I did. And I thought, oh, I'll give this a go for like 1 or 2 games. I was sat there for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's the way with Tetris 99. I did the same thing when I first started.
It's so crazy, isn't it? And I
Oh,
think,
it is. I don't know why it is as good as it is, but it is.
well, I think it's because it's a similar thing to Ollie Ollie, where once, you know, failure's right around the corner, as it always is with Tetris or any arcade game. But when you when you do fail, you get a place, you know exactly how well you've done, and then it's just one button to find your next match, and the matchmaking is lightning fast. Like it's only ever about 30 seconds, right, until you're in the next game.
Yep.
Which for when you get to like the later stages of the games, and it's that fast paced, you need about 30 seconds, don't you? Um.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I've been loving it. What's the highest place you've ever came?
Third, I think.
Ooh, I've been fourth. I think I
I
might.
think. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. I might not have got past 50, but I don't know. I don't remember. Um,
I've come fourth at least once. I've hit top 10 a few times. I've only got about 10 hours in the game.
oh really?
Well, yeah, that's the thing in Tetris.
Hey, don't knock it. Tetris was one of my games on the original Game Boy, and I loved that game.
Tetris is just fantastic, isn't it? And
Ding, 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 ding.
and that's the one song in Tetris 99.
No, there's 3 songs.
Are
Oh,
there?
in Tetris 99, I don't know about that, but
Yeah, no, I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm I'm honestly too absorbed in.
you don't really have time to think of the music.
No, I really don't.
It's
I've
like me playing StarCraft. I just put music on so it's in the background,
hmm hmm
and then once I get probably about a minute and a half in, I don't even realize the music is on.
Yep, and that's a sign of good video game music. It's why video game music is so good to study to, or like write or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, but another reason I think why Tetris is so good is because if you were just playing for a high score, and there's an online leaderboard or whatever there is, or you're beating your own high score, I feel like there's only so far you can sort of take that. But when like when you fail and you're 90th out of 99 people, and then you fail and you're 80th, and then you keep playing, and then suddenly you're in the top 50 of 90% of games you play, you know, you've got that thing to work towards. And I really think that's the difference that makes Tetris 99 just so addictive, is the
Mhm.
fact that you know you can do better, and it's not just a high score. That's for me,
Yeah.
anyway.
You're not ranked at 32,000 out of 800,000 or something or other. It's a
Yeah,
meaningless number. It's a case of, oh no, no, no. You're in the top 50. That's a number which you can relate to.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's it's so mad because I came fourth, and I'm pretty sure once, and that was on my first day of playing, so I was stoked with that. And then I'm pretty sure on the next game I came 96th. Like, it is one of those.
Overconfidence.
Pardon?
Overconfidence.
Overconfidence. That's the thing. But it's just, yeah, it's just so addictive. It's such a great game. But that article will be out soon on samuelcarmody.co.uk. Do you want to move on to news?
Yeah, we can do, seeing as we're already 2 hours in, and we've only just got to the end of the first section.
We're just about to hit 1 hour 49.
We're almost 2 hours in, and we've only just
Almost
got to
two
the end of
hours
the
in. Wow. Might
yeah.
have to might have to edit this down. Who knows? Peek behind the
We'll
curtain.
fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
I'm sure Reggie doesn't mind sitting there for a few hours watching us.
Reggie will love it. How you doing, Reginald? So, news. What do you think we should start with? We've got
Uh, I
we've,
mean, start at the top and move downwards. That's the most logical.
okay, fair play. So, huge news for me, and I think for you as well. Paper
Oh, it
Mario
certainly came out of nowhere.
absolutely came out of nowhere. Paper Mario: The Origami King was essentially shadow dropped. I know it wasn't technically because a shadow drop is like it's available now, but for
Yeah,
such a high profile game,
I mean, they've Nintendo have done this before, where they've announced sort of smaller second party games with 2 or 3 months before release.
yeah,
So it's not unexpected from that, you know.
it's not unprecedented, but it's still unexpected.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the fact that it's a Paper Mario game is, yeah. I would have thought this would have been, you know, at one of their E3 showcases at some
Mhm.
point, or at least a nod towards the fact that something was being developed rather than just a. Oh, by the way, here it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we
It
go, 90% complete.
yeah, available in July. What?
Yep. Here's some gameplay.
Here's what you're gonna be playing in 2 months.
Mario, will you fold to the new ways? Oh,
So talking about the trailer when it opens up with Mario talking to Origami Peach, and it's just I love when Nintendo gets dark, like with their cartoony franchises.
oh yeah.
It's so good, isn't it?
Dark Nintendo is best Nintendo.
Yeah, it works so well. Like it's like a sort of horror movie. That first part of the trailer, right?
Yeah.
So crazy. What do you think?
It looks like it's going to be a new battle system, so you won't have the problem which you had with Sticker Star.
Hmm.
Um,
So the battle
looks
system
like it
is
look,
those
looks like
rings.
it. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be more towards the classic battle system than the more newer ones,
Hmm.
just in a ring style, and I think that's going to add an awful lot of strategy and stuff.
That's the thing.
Uh,
Nintendo don't like just putting out a sequel for a sequel's sake
yeah,
that's not Pokemon.
yeah.
They,
And
they
I'll be honest with you, I don't think they have much of a choice with Pokemon anyway.
oh no, Nintendo don't at all, do they?
Game Freak will develop it and then just be like, "Ah, we're releasing it."
Yeah, I think it's more the Pokemon company than any of them, to be honest. But but I like it. It doesn't seem to be like an unnecessary gimmick
No, it looks clean. I like the concept of origami being used because it.
because it's paper.
Am I right in thinking that this is the first time there's been a 3D overworld?
I'm not.
Because we saw Paper Mario driving around in a 3D car across a 3D landscape,
And we
and
also
that's really really cute.
and we also saw. Well, it wasn't a car; it was a shoe.
Oh, was it?
It was a shoe on wheels. Yeah,
That's better.
because of course it was.
Because why not?
Yeah, um, and we also saw him in a boat. I feel like everyone's talking about the shoe, and no one's talking about the boat.
True. What happens if Paper Mario gets wet?
Who knows?
Is he going to be like money, where you can just blow dry him dry,
So I'll
or is it going to be like paper, where if you get it wet, then you're pretty much throwing it away?
I'm gonna be honest here. I have played one game in the Paper Mario series. Do you know what that game is?
Sticker Star.
No.
But you had a problem with Sticker Star. That's why I said that.
No, I've just heard all the.
1,000 Year Door.
Pardon?
1,000 Year Door.
Never had a GameCube.
Go fish.
Super Paper Mario.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So Super Paper Mario. So it's I'm almost in like an outsider looking in kind of thing, but I've also seen a lot of videos of fans of the series talking about it, so I've got a bit of knowledge about it. But as far as I can tell, the original Nintendo 64 Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door are beloved, and they're like to Paper Mario fans, they're the real Paper Mario games, right?
Hmm.
Sticker Star and Color Splash, people didn't like, and Super Paper Mario is really polarizing because it's just a completely different game.
Yeah.
So obviously, Origami King isn't going back to Super Paper Mario.
No, I
But
wouldn't expect it to.
no, absolutely not. I don't think they'll ever go back to that style again. Um, but yeah, what do you think? Do you think it'll lean more heavily into the Stick Star Color Splash style, or
I honestly don't think we've seen enough to say either way. We've seen a 2-minute trailer and that's it.
but
Ask
that
me again in 2 months when I've actually played the game
but
or
that
more has been
but
revealed.
that trailer showed off partners, which
That
look
trailer showed off a lot, but you've trailers are tailored to the market, so they could show these things and then be a minimal part of the game. I know it's unlikely, but it could happen.
yeah, it could happen. I mean, arguably, Breath of the Wild, like the story all happened while you weren't there, and it, but it kind of looked like from the story trailers that it was going to be,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean, don't you?
Oh yeah, if you looked at the story trailers and then looked at Breath of the Wild as a whole, you would not have expected the game which you got.
Yeah. Also, the Champions Pack
And I think
DLC, the same
I think
thing.
even up to release, people weren't expecting the game that they got.
No, for better or for worse, you know,
Better
it
or
would be
worse, yeah.
nice. It would be nice to sort of be involved in the story as it's happening, rather than it just be memories. Memories.
Yeah.
But back to Paper
But I
Mario.
think that's probably what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be, or whatever that ends up being.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Origami King out July 17th.
17th, 27th, something like that. I can't remember, to be honest.
Might be worth, you know,
Writing these down in future.
yeah, checking these things because, if we're going to be talking about them, then it might be worth letting our one listener, Reggie, know when he can pick up Paper Mario Origami King.
Come on, Nintendo.co.uk. Load. 17th of July, you were right.
Boom! Nailed it.
You were right about that one. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm excited.
Yep.
The second thing we've got is the Unreal Engine 5 showcase.
Yeah, it's more Unreal Engine.
Yep.
It's even more Unreal than the last engine.
I can never get too excited with engine showcases, to be honest.
I mean, the fact that it wasn't just an engine showcase, but that was actually playable.
That's true. Yeah.
Because the
it wasn't just a camera panning.
No, it was supposed to be playable at Gamescom this year, but obviously Gamescom was called off because some dude decided that he wanted to eat a pangolin.
Yeah.
So that should have come out at Gamescom a couple of months ago. It looks like more of the same. I mean, the Unreal Engine has always been a fantastically well-built engine for game development.
Mm-hmm.
And Unreal 5 looks like it's going to be more of the same. I don't know many of the additional features that they're throwing in. I don't know many, what technical specs it's looking at. I get the feeling it's probably going to be more streamlined. It's going to be more, it's going to allow you to require less to do more.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, the big thing that came out of this entire announcement was the fact that that Epic have announced that moving forward, the Unreal Engine 4 is going to be licensable for indie developers for free until the game which they release has earned $1 million, which is a big thing.
It's a fantastic step.
Before this, it was 5% on any game that earned 30,000 per month, and now it's going to be 5% on anything over $1 million, I would imagine. Which for indie developers is just wow.
Yeah, it's just huge, especially for like anyone starting up essentially on their own.
I hope it's gonna provide a little bit more boom in the indie. I mean, indie games at the moment are fantastic as is. They're just getting better and better. But throwing in the Unreal 4 engine into that, can you imagine the sort of things that these people are going to be able to do with a proper graphics intensive engine behind them?
I mean, the lines are getting blurred now, aren't they, between indie and
Yeah,
AAA? Are we seeing the return of like those sort of AA studios? Do you know what I mean by that?
yeah, I know what you mean by that, and I don't think we're going to ever receive the return of that.
No.
But the fact that you can build a game with 3 people in a basement, or Stardew Valley, 1 person in a basement.
Yeah, yeah, and Stardew Valley's just beloved.
Yeah, but the fact that the life, it's a big thing, and I think in 2 years' time we will see what a big thing it is. And honestly, if you turned around to an indie dev and said, "Hey, you're gonna have to give us 5% of all your earnings, but only once you've reached $1 million," I think most of them would snap your hand off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Most of them would say, "What do you mean $1 million?" Like,
yeah,
I, you know, anyone who's first starting out in game development or
yeah, and it does mean that people can self-publish things that without the risk of. I mean, even 5% of 30 grand a month is not that much, but
but
if
again,
you've got
it's not insignificant.
it's not insignificant. If you've got a team of 6 on your indie team,
Mm-hmm.
you know that's that's a significant portion
Mm-hmm.
that's going away that could be going towards your dev team or going towards a new office or whatever.
Once you're earning $1 million, surely you've sort of got a solid foundation there.
Yeah, and it's I. I don't know what this licensing deal is. I don't know whether it's a licensing deal to get things exclusively on the Epic Store. But I can't imagine it being that because I would have thought that would have been the main point in most of the articles I've read, and none of them have said that. I could be wrong, but yeah, I mean it's a big step forward for indie developers, and I look forward to what it's going to bring to the gaming spectrum.
Yeah,
Because I
same.
want more creativity. I don't want more remakes, remasters, sequels, ports, and we'll come on to that with
With our
a
discussion, we
little
certainly
bit later.
will.
Yeah.
Um, Next bit of news, really exciting for me. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 reveal.
Yep. Which is weird, given that we were talking about wanting a new Tony Hawk's not 2 weeks ago.
I think I think what happened was
Thank you, Reggie, for listening in on that conversation as well.
Pardon?
I said thank you to Reggie for listening in on that conversation as well, and he's obviously put a word in.
Yeah, thank you, Reggie, for hacking into our WhatsApp. That's really helped out there. So I
Just a
think
disclaimer: there is no evidence that anybody has ever hacked into our WhatsApp, and we would appreciate it if we weren't sued for libel for that.
yeah, that'd be nice. This is a joke. That was a bit. So I think the conversation between me and you, there was that trailer for Skater XL that's coming out for Switch, and I sent you that, and I said, "Do you think this could be like fill the Tony Hawkscape gap in my heart?" And then
Yep.
about 2 weeks later, that trailer
2 weeks
dropped.
later, I got another message that was like, "Nope, nope, this is going to fill the Tony Hawk's gap," and I clicked on the link, and I was like, "Oh, it's so pretty," and then it popped up that bit about, "Oh yeah, we've got most of the licensed music back as well." I was
Yep,
like,
fantastic. And it's Vicarious Visions who are doing it, who did the Crash remasters.
"Yes," so it should be pretty akin to the original. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't include 3 and 4 in there, but it gives them scope to go forward and do a remaster of those as well.
Yeah, I mean,
If it does well, which it will.
when they did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, I don't think I've not played.
Mobile port.
I don't think it was mobile. It was definitely on Steam and everything.
Okay.
But as far as I know, the physics weren't like accurate to what they were in the previous games, and there were just a whole lot of things
This
that
looks
quite
very
right.
much like it's going to be a Halo Combat Evolved
Yeah,
anniversary,
yeah.
where it is the same underlying game engine, and they've just put a new lick of paint on top.
I think they're adding in manuals and reverts, which, if I
Were they
remember
not in
right, no, if I remember rightly, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 added in manuals and number 3 added in reverts.
Okay.
So I've heard people say that like one of the high scores in one of the levels is like 30,000, which is laughable if you can do reverts and manuals. So that
That sort
little
of thing they'll
things.
adjust. Though. They've
Yeah, I
got
was.
the improved Arena Maker, which the original Arena Maker was fantastic anyway.
Oh, I
I
loved it
made
in
some
number 3.
fantastic courses. Uh, even if I did for myself. Um, but yeah, it came out of nowhere, and I'm happy for it. It's coming out on Xbox and PlayStation and PC, so I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit irritated that I'm not going to get a Switch port because I'd have loved to play that on Switch, but
Oh,
I will
absolutely.
quite happily sit in front of my PC for however many hours and play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, and I
Just
might end
like
up.
the good old days. I'll have Football Manager open on my Mac, and I can pretend that's Championship Manager.
Mm-hmm. How do you think it'll go? Do you think like the Crash remakes, it'll have you choose between 1 and 2, or do you think they'll bundle it into one whole game?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I get the feeling, based on things that they were saying in the trailer, that it's going to be bundled all together.
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
thinking, and as I say, with like manuals and reverts and everything coming back, like retroactively, it's not like the Crash games where I believe is it the slide or something that you couldn't do in the first game.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's an interesting one, and again, it's going to be. We'll have to wait and see. Uh, but I believe 1 and 2 were built on the same engine, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
hmm
But I'm
fingers
looking forward to
crossed.
it. And yeah,
And
let's
like
go find that alien.
yes, and like you said with 3 and 4, I think in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, I think they added levels from number 3. I This is all off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they added some levels from number 3 in as DLC. So maybe that'll happen. Maybe a sequel will happen with 3 and 4. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I can imagine it being like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, where you know if the first one does well, then the second one's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's coming out in November, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Let me get the actual date. This'll
We'll streamline this at some point. We'll fix this in post.
yeah. This is episode 1, and it's also this might be episode 1 of 1. Who knows? But it's also the first time either of us have done anything like this, right?
Yeah, damn it, Sam. 10, 20 years in the future, we're still not forgiving you. Eventually.
And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla had a reveal trailer, essentially.
I mean, there's been a lot there's been a lot released about. Did you know there was a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5?
Yes, did you not?
No, I had no idea. That's how badly it did.
Yeah, was it 2015?
I've no idea. I've just seen it while looking.
I think it was 2015. Or maybe that was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater
It
HD.
was 2015. Yeah.
That
Oh, it was on. It was at the. Yeah. Okay. That's silly.
it was the one that
Um.
had no content on the disc, that was really buggy, that was just bad.
Oh, it was that.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, where the disc was essentially a download code.
yep.
Ah, funny. Um. Yes, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which a lot has been released the last couple of weeks after its announcement from Ubisoft.
hmm
There was a gameplay demo for the Xbox One X series gamer tag Halo Elite Special Mega Uber collectible edition with added Doritos and Mountain Dew,
hmm
um,
And Knuckles.
where apparently it's only going to run at 30 FPS on the brand new, spanking new console.
Oof.
Uh, I need to remember whether that was 4K 60, 4K 30, or whether it was 1080p 30.
Do you think games should offer that option?
I think games should run at 60 regardless.
But if it's a choice, if it's a choice between 4K 30 and 1080p 60.
I think the more choices you can offer gamers in these sort of things, the better.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I think it was Final Fantasy 15 had a performance mode on the PlayStation Pro, where you could say, okay, I'm on a PlayStation Pro. Would you like that extra performance to go towards your graphical fidelity, so run it at 4K, or your gameplay and run it at a higher frame rate?
Gameplay every step of the way.
Yeah, if people want 4K visuals for their 4K TV, then sure, let it run like a slug.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
That was the same. That was the same argument, not the exact same argument, but that I had with the Crash remakes. Either I could buy it on PlayStation 4 that I had at the time and see Crash's fur, or I could buy it on Switch and play it in handheld. And I was like, Switch.
So Ubisoft have confirmed to Eurogamer Portugal that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will have a frame rate of at least 30 FPS on Xbox Series X, as well as run at a 4K resolution. Now that is not promising.
No. No, it's not.
At least 30 FPS. That's not something you want to be hearing. That sounds like internally they've got it running at significantly lower than that, and they're acting to optimize it.
I was just going to say, what do you think of the game itself? How do you think it looks? Other than the performance.
I've not seen any of the gameplay trailers or any of the reveal stuff. I've just seen what I've read. But yeah, I like the look of it. I think it's weird to have a new Animal Crossing game this soon after the original, but
exactly. Animal Crossing with Vikings as well. How's that going to work?
I know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
What I like is the fact that it's going to be essentially the Nordic invasion of Britain, which is one of the things that is taught in history class here in good old Blighty. And yeah, so apparently there's going to be Chester and London. I know London is definitely there, but this is why I should do my research beforehand.
It's okay. We can streamline this. We can edit in post.
Would be fine. So it's going to be the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms from the Vikings. La 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 la. It's going to be more akin to Odyssey and Origins than it is to the originals. I'm okay with the direction which they're going. I really liked playing Odyssey. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. And Vikings are always fun. They've already mentioned the understandable connections with God of War, and they've already said, well, we're going to be a more historic telling, and that's more mythical, which is fine. And Assassin's Creed has always been a historic game, loosely. Yeah, oh, wow. Apparently you're going to be able to forge diplomatic weddings to form relationships between clans and the community. Excellent. I'm going to get married, I'm going to have lots of children, and then sell them off to the nearest rulers.
Just like a real
real who's
assassin.
Going to love this game? Tom.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
It looks like Assassin's Creed is going full Crusader Kings.
Yeah, Tom is going to absolutely adore Assassin's Creed Crusader Kings.
Sorry, it wasn't Chester, it was... explorable cities include Winchester, London, and here's one for you, York.
York? Of course, York.
I wonder if they're going to have the upper crust.
They might
I'll go to the upper crust. Yeah, I'm just going to spend all my time invading the upper crust in York train station because that's definitely going to be there in the 800.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. And isn't Assassin's Creed all about going forwards then backwards in time?
Maybe. there's loose elements of that in everything. It's weird. The 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 current timeline story of Assassin's Creed is all over the place.
I thought so.
I mean, I have no idea where it's at right now. All I remember is seeing my main character in Odyssey in a suit and thinking, why the hell is she in a suit?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do?
What can you do?
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed as a whole, but the fact that it's not going to be running at 60 on the new consoles is something of a kick in the teeth to it. I was never going to play it on the new consoles anyway, so I'm okay. But it doesn't bode well. It feels like the new consoles is not another step up like it should be. It looks like they're, and there was a poll on IGN which I'm going to pull from because I saw it last night, voted in it, and I was like, I'm going to pull from this tomorrow when we talk about it. And the question proffered was, how important are upgraded graphics to your next gen experience? And at the time, they were, there were quite a lot more people saying the most important thing is upgraded graphics to a next gen experience. Right now, it's pretty much 30, 30, 30, and then 10% is something. 10% in something else is more important.
So what are the options then?
So the most important thing has 29.6%. Loading times are more important, has 28%. Frame rate is more important, has 29.6%.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else is more important is 12.8%.
So it's essentially graphics, well, graphical fidelity,
yeah.
frame rate, and
yeah.
What was the third one?
Approximately 70% of people in this poll, which is about 28,500 people, 70% have said that there are more important things than graphics, like quicker loading times, better frame rate, or something else entirely is more important to them than increased graphical fidelity. And I've been banging this drum for probably 15 years now.
I was gonna say, I remember when the PS4 and Xbox One were revealed. I'm sure you said to me something like, "Games look fine as they are. Like the performance needs to be focused on."
I mean, you look at let's pull one of your favorite games out of history. Look at The Last of Us.
Oh yes.
Look at The Last of Us and go back and play that game today. The Last of Us was released
on the PlayStation 3.
2000 and what? 2013?
2013.
That is a beautiful game.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 5 when it was originally released on the PS3 and Xbox.
2013. Fantastic looking game.
More recently, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fantastic looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Graphical for the thing which we need is not higher quality textures. It's not more polygons. It's a higher frame rate and more things on screen. Essentially, I mean, the thing that was lacking in Red Dead Redemption was the fact that you didn't have hundreds and hundreds of animals everywhere, or like big old bustling cities. I would love an Assassin's Creed game where I walked into a living, thriving city like London,
and it felt like a living, thriving city.
Yeah, a big old city with hundreds of people all looking different.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather that than walking into a city and going, "Oh, look at that brick! That brick looks nice."
Yeah.
Look at that 4K brick. And that's all I can look at because I'm burning at 3 frames a second.
Each of these 4K bricks is handcrafted.
We select only the most organic, locally sourced 4K bricks.
We have a team of 1,000 people working to the crunch.
That's the thing. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has got 15 different studios working on it.
Oh my god.
It is by far the biggest game that Ubisoft have ever made. And they can't get it to run at 60 FPS on a brand new console.
Too many cooks.
Yeah,
Too many
I
hands
get
in the
that.
pot.
I get that consoles have lifespans, and that the games at the beginning of the lifespan are nowhere near the the graphical fidelity and the optimization at games at the end of the lifespan. Fine,
Hmm.
that's the argument that you could make for The Last of Us, and for Grand Theft Auto, they were built at the end of the lifespan when people had already had the console down. But you want to demonstrate your
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So you said that, and I'm going to pull from Rockstar because it's examples we've used. You said Grand Theft Auto 5 when it was first released, still on the PS3 and Xbox 360, is still a fantastic looking game in that state.
yes,
Red Dead Redemption 2, released on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, still a fantastic looking game.
yep.
Compare Red Dead Redemption 2 on current gen to Grand Theft Auto 5 on last gen.
All right.
Do you think there's enough of a difference there to look back and say, okay, this is meaningful now?
No,
You don't?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
they're different. They're different games, but if you look at them in the same context, you go into the woods on Grand Theft Auto, have a walk around. No, there is not enough difference between the two.
There's not enough difference to significantly impact your experience.
No,
Okay.
no. Are you kidding? Grand Theft Auto 5 had, if your character was wearing flip flops, they would flip flop as you walked upstairs.
That's true.
In fact, no. That should be the benchmark. Can characters walk upstairs like normal people rather than gliding up? Get your animations correct at
Yeah.
60 frames a second, and have them walking on steps, and then you can release a game.
Yep. Okay. Very passionate about those stairs.
I hate people. I hate going up steps
You know what
in
the
games.
you know what the
It's
problem
the
there is?
it's the most realism breaking thing in the world.
For me, the problem there is walking upstairs in real life is like more of a slog than you realize, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like,
there are entire exercise regimes based around going up and down stairs.
yeah, yeah. So it takes more time, and so I think the reason for that is just from a gameplay perspective, literally just so that half your time isn't on stairs or the game
No, I'm
doesn't
sorry, but you
grind to
play
a
Grand Theft
halt.
Auto, you don't slow down at all when you go up the stairs.
But you still look like you're going upstairs. Okay.
You still look like you're going upstairs. Yeah, you take one step at a time.
You don't glide up. You don't
No,
slide
you
off
don't
the
glide.
steps.
It's not. You don't just continue the walking animation, but slowly glide upwards.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point. Fair point. Well made. So that's Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption. Um, Last item we have on the news, what you added. Halo Infinite will be at July's Xbox Series X reveal event.
Yes, and that sort of links into what our discussion is going to be about. So I don't know if you want to jump into the discussion, and then I'll start with this point.
Yeah, let's do it. So the discussion, what will the launch window look like for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X?
Uh, Based on the fact that Halo Infinite is going to be at the Xbox Series X reveal event in a couple of months, I would say that Halo Infinite is probably going to be a launch title for the Xbox Series X,
Which would be fantastic.
which would link in pretty much with what I've been saying since Master Chief Collection started on PC, which is they're going to get to Halo 4 and then Infinite will be released.
Yeah.
Completely disregarding that Halo 5 ever even happened.
As the Halo franchise hasn't really, so I've never really played Halo, but it's never really hit the heights of 1, 2, and 3, has it?
Oh no, I think Reach is the best game that they ever released.
Was Reach the one after 3?
Reach was the last Bungie game.
Reach was the last Bungie game.
Okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3, ODST, which was on the 3 engine.
Yeah.
Reach, 4, 5.
Right. Okay. And so 4 was when Bungie.
343 took
Yeah,
over.
343 took over. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what are your hopes for Halo Infinite then? Do you think it could ever? Do you think the series could ever get back to the high levels that Bungie?
I don't know, and I don't know which direction they're going in it. given that all we've had is a pre-rendered cutscene of Master Chief invading some guy's boat, invading some guy's ship, and then, leaving him for dead by blasting out of a door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's much that we can take from that other than the fact that Master Chief is still going to be willingly killing people, just even by accident, throughout. But
like Christian Bale's Batman.
Christian Bale's Batman.
Not killing on a technicality.
Isn't that Arkham Knight Batman as well?
I think that's a lot of Batmans.
But it's I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I get the feeling that it will be the flagship title. It will sell a lot of Xboxes, but I do think that they are potentially hampering themselves by releasing it on PC at the same time. Not that I'm going to complain, because I'm not buying an Xbox Series X. I get to play Halo.
I think the next generation consoles, especially Xbox at this point, needs that flagship title.
Yes. Yeah, which is why I think they keep on pushing and pushing and pushing Last of Us 2.
Yes.
I think that keeps on getting pushed so that it will be a PlayStation 5 release title.
Have they confirmed that it's not? I'm sure I've heard.
They've not confirmed that it's not, but they've not confirmed that it is either.
Right, okay.
There's a Sony event there's a Sony event ongoing right now, and then there's another one coming up, which is about the PlayStation. They're ramping up their media for the PlayStation 5 because they don't have E3 to throw everything behind.
So Last of Us 2 is confirmed to be on PS4. Is
confirmed. Right, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a PS5 launch.
Oh, no, I know.
Because Gears 5 is a game that is already out. Gears of War 5, well, no, it's actually just Gears 5 these days, is a game that's already out, and that's being touted as an Xbox Series X launch title. They're also saying, quite, graciously, that if you already own the original Gears 5, you will get the Series X version free. Which, given that the Series X is backwards compatible with all Xbox One games and all Xbox 360 games and a large amount of original Xbox titles, that's so gracious of them. Oh, that's so nice.
No, it's a game.
You mean I don't have to spend $60 on a brand new version of the same game that I've already been playing?
You know what though? I'll take it. I'll take it. Not that I own Gears 5 or anything, but
no, Microsoft are being really. It really irks me because I really want to hate them, but they're being so gamer friendly.
Yeah, so customer friendly. The fact that everything is coming out on PC as well as the Xbox.
That announcement was just fantastic. That all future Microsoft developed titles for the Xbox One and the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X, Alpha, Electric Boogaloo will be released on PC as well, and not just on PC in the Windows Store. It's PC on Steam.
Yeah,
it's just
really customer friendly.
Focused. And it's putting the ball in Sony's court because Sony are the ones, as far as I can tell, that are the only ones that are stopping cross-platform play becoming a reality that I think it should be. And I do think that this is the year where crossplay becomes big. I don't want to be limited to just PC players when I play FIFA. I want Xbox and PlayStation people.
Yeah, you want parity with other consoles, essentially.
Yeah, I want to be able to play with my friends regardless of what console they own.
But last generation being 360 and PS3, Microsoft were the ones holding that sort of innovation back because they were essentially winning that generation in terms of sales. This generation, it has been Sony holding them back, and that is because Sony have been winning that generation in terms of sales. Whoever's in the lead seems to dictate the market, for better or for worse.
Yes and no. Excuse me, sorry. I think the promotion of Phil Spencer has had a lot to do with it. A lot to do with it.
Yeah,
moving him up in the last 3 years. He's gone from being head of a department to being head of Xbox,
yeah, and
and I think
the last
more of that needs to happen.
well, the last 3 years is when the big changes at Ubisoft have been made. At Ubisoft, at Microsoft.
Hey, there's been big changes at Ubisoft as well. We no longer have to sit through Aisha Tyler at their press conferences
Oh,
with her big dick energy.
I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, uh, I think the more gamers that become management in these companies, the better.
Mhm.
Because gamers know what gamers want, and because it's a relatively young industry, a lot of the management at companies like Microsoft and Sony that are not game, they were not built as game companies. A lot of the management there are people that have been shifted sideways within, or moved up through Microsoft, or moved up through Sony,
Mhm.
and then put in charge of a gaming division. Phil Spencer is a gamer, and he knows what gamers want. He's played games most of his life, from what I gather. So he knows that, the way to move forward and the way to make his company user friendly.
Yeah, true,
I mean, the
true.
fact that they've got
For
that Microsoft have put Xbox gamer tags, game accounts on Minecraft on Switch.
yeah,
If they ported the entire Xbox Live system over onto Nintendo Switch, I'd be fine with it.
yeah. I mean,
Because Xbox Live is a great system, even on PC.
even something like Cuphead going to Switch, like
Yeah,
it's such a little thing, but well, it's not even a little thing, is it? It's a Microsoft exclusive going to another console.
yeah, and you
It's
say that,
not just
but
putting it on
Sony
PC.
are Sony are moving in the same direction. The new is it an NBA title? Might be NBA Jam
I'm not sure.
this year, developed by Sony Computer Entertainment, is being released on PC, Xbox, and PS3, PS5, whatever.
Fair play, fair play. Do you think
So,
so? So on that front, do you think exclusives have a place in this new generation?
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, no, I do.
I don't think they should do. I think limiting the audience of your game is ridiculous, and people should be focused more on the games and less on the hardware. The hardware should be a conduit for the games, not the other way around.
So
Uh, but the fact that Sony are now allowing first and second party titles like Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding to be released on PC, admittedly, Horizon Zero Dawn has been out for a few years, but that's not going to stop me picking it up
no,
because I didn't get the chance of playing it on PlayStation because I
and
don't get a PlayStation.
it might run better on PC
Oh, it probably will. It
depending on the
probably will.
power of your PC.
Oh, I'll run it on low settings. It'll probably still look better than the PlayStation 4.
Oh my god.
Reggie's
Um,
slamming that red button right now. I don't know why, because I've just dropped Sony in it. But yeah,
but
I just hope Sony continue doing that. I want to play Spider-Man, but I don't want to own a PlayStation 4.
so on that sort
I
of
want to
note,
play The Last of Us 2, but I don't want to own a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 6.
on that sort of note, PlayStation have launched the PlayStation Studios brand, or they will launch it
Yes.
alongside the PlayStation 5, and that could go either way for me, because Sony in the past few years have been putting a
It's all about
huge.
branding.
It's all about branding, but they've been
It's like Xbox Game Studios has released uh, Master Chief Collection on PC. It's about getting the Sony name out there. People will want things from PlayStation development studios,
Mhm.
and I think that is a step to releasing things multi-platform. And I really hope that's the way things go. And I really, really hope that other game developers, take note and start developing cross-platform. I mean, the titles themselves are cross-platform enough as it is. Just make their online system link.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, just
There's no
get
reason
some
not to.
open source, just shareware, whatever online system, and link it to all of the systems and allow people to play with whoever they want to play with on whatever they want to play with.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason not to. If like
Especially, and
if two,
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but especially if you're limiting your damn games to 30 FPS anyway.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say if two games, if a game can be played online with two PCs at radically different specifications, there's no
Yeah,
reason why they can't be played on two consoles of slightly different specifications.
yeah.
Like
And
it's just it's a decision by the company at this
yeah,
point. It's not a technical limitation.
no, and there will be teething issues. There will be the point where Xbox gamers realise that they really can't hold their own against PC gamers with a keyboard and mouse.
Hmm.
But they're the the new consoles, and I think even the current consoles, are keyboard and mouse capable.
But
So
also,
if they wanted to, they could do, but
also
they could
there's
also opt out.
I'm sure there's ways to opt out of matchmaking with people with
Yeah,
using keyboard and mouse.
Call of Duty is cross-platform now, so you can choose to be in just controller lobbies or keyboard and mouse lobbies.
Which to me is the way to go. It's
Yeah,
choice. It's choice. Um,
yeah, and then there will be people that do play with controllers that are able to hold their own against people with keyboard and mouse,
yeah,
because the people with keyboard and mouse are shit, like me.
like me. Oh, I remember thinking I was pretty good at Overwatch, and then going back and playing it and not being able to get out of bronze.
I remember thinking, no, I've never thought I was good at StarCraft.
No,
I'm even worse
StarCraft's a
when I play
whole.
with controller.
You play with a controller?
No.
I was gonna say. Oh, um. So talking about exclusives, I think exclusives will still be a thing. At least timed exclusives.
Oh, timed exclusives.
Hmm. I think it'll be a Horizon Zero Dawn situation where it won't be till
Yeah.
a while later that the PC gets it because I think the thing that Sony has is games.
Do
I,
they though? Do they have that over Microsoft?
I think so.
Even with Microsoft releasing everything on PC as well?
I think so. I think they do.
Because Microsoft have been buying up independent studios like, you know, Tic Tacs off the floor.
Yeah, but what really great Microsoft exclusives, Xbox exclusives, have come out within the past few years?
Uh, Gears 5, all of the Forza games. Uh, Halo is always going to be a big seller. Uh,
To me, these are all either sequels or I don't know. They just don't seem to have
okay, name Sony titles.
Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Spider Man.
God of War
Uh,
is a sequel.
it is, but it's fantastic, and it's
Sorry.
kind of a reboot as well. It's like a half soft reboot.
Yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying that there's a lot of sequels and there's not a lot of original content coming out, but
It's like
there's
it seems like Xbox is the console if you want to play the multi platforms and you want to play, as you say, Gears of War, Forza, and Halo.
I'm just going to say at this point I have no reason to own either console. If a game comes out that's on those consoles that I want to play, then I'll wait for it to come out on PC, which it inevitably will do. Kingdom Hearts, I'm looking at you, please. Or you know, I don't the only the only current gen console I own is a Switch, and even that I only got a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm. Talking about the Switch, where does Nintendo fit into next gen?
Nintendo is, and it has been since the Wii was released. If we ignore the fact that the Wii U was a complete failure, um, and probably even before the Wii was released, Nintendo has always been the plus one.
Yeah, it has.
It's always been a case of, oh yeah, bro, I've got a PS2, but I've also got my Game Boy Advance here for Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's the same.
Nintendo has always done handheld really well, and now they have a home console that's handheld.
Yeah, it's like who didn't have a Wii, but also the Xbox 360 was just a completely different beast.
Yeah,
Like,
they are catering towards different markets.
and
You know,
it's
the new consoles are aiming towards their Call of Duty playing, FIFA playing
mhm.
8-year-olds, whereas the Switch is aiming towards people that are commuting to work every day.
Yeah, yeah, and they're also both appealing to a different type of core gamer.
Yeah, are they?
I think so. I think
I
so.
don't think so because I think I'm a different type of core gamer to you, but I've got the same appeal of the Switch as you do.
Oh yeah, yeah. But we have a similar. We have a big overlap in our tastes.
True.
I think, and I think Nintendo is that big overlap.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, Nintendo are at this point in time they are a beast until their own. You know, they've got the Switch is essentially the indie machine with
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo properties on it. If you're looking for third-party titles, you don't go to the Switch.
But
The
what?
only third-party title that's done any good or any sales is Mario Rabbids, which has Mario in it.
Yes, it's almost a second party title at that point.
Yeah. I think I looked at it, and in the top 30 best-selling titles, there are two which are not published by Nintendo. One of those is
Crazy.
Octopath Traveler, which is Square Enix, and one
Mm-hmm.
of which is Mario Rabbids, which may as well have been published by Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah. But do you think that Nintendo would do anything this year to essentially be like, okay, next gen is happening, but this is what we're doing?
No,
And
they don't need to.
you don't think?
No, I think the Switch is still fairly early on in its life cycle. The fact that we haven't seen anything from Metroid Prime 4 yet suggests that as well.
Even if it's, I think they do something. Even if it's like a they're waiting until like they hear the big news from the other companies, and then they say, okay, but look, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming this November.
I think I think Breath of the Wild 2 will be announced. The release date will be announced some point later this year, and it will coincide with the 35th anniversary of Zelda
You
because
don't
they'll do something with that.
you don't think they'll announce anything big to try and
No,
grab some of that headline space?
they don't need to. I mean, look at the excitement that they caused just by dropping a trailer for Paper Mario. They
Oh
don't
yeah,
need to.
yeah, that's true.
Animal Crossing has come out and it's the biggest selling game on the platform in Japan,
Mhm.
and that came out 2 months ago.
They don't need to
They don't
do.
need to. They are sitting on a mountain of money. They can do whatever the hell they like, which means that they will do whatever the hell they like, which means that we're going to get some amazing games.
I hope it doesn't lead to complacency, though.
You mean like they did with the Wii? Yeah,
Kind
they've
of
learned.
like, yeah, kind of like what they did with the Wii U as well.
Yeah,
The Wii
that
transitioning into
I,
the
I
Wii U.
would. I'd like to hope that what happened with the Wii U means that they've learned.
Yeah, yeah. Back to next gen. What do you think we see? First party titles. You think we get Halo Infinite on the Xbox? Bless you.
Halo Infinite and Last of Us 2. Yeah.
As
Um.
as cross releases.
No. 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 There's never. I don't think
As
The
in,
Last of Us 2 will ever release on anything other than PlayStation.
oh no, I know, but let's say Last of Us Part Two is coming out on PS4 and PS5,
Right.
and Halo Infinite, Xbox One and Xbox Series X. Do you think that's the direction it's going?
I think that will be the direction it's going because they've kind of already announced. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would find it strange if they released Halo Infinite on just the one because
Would you be
then
surprised if they released it just on the Series X on the next gen?
yeah, I would be really surprised by that because that alienates quite a large audience, and I don't think that's what they're aiming to do with the
Mm-hmm.
Series X.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Series X is going to be, hey, this is where you can play games better,
Yeah.
rather than, hey, this is where you can play better games.
Yeah, this is your all-in-one system.
Yeah.
You don't have to build a PC. You don't have to worry about games not running. Games run the best here on Xbox. But if you want to play our games anywhere else, here they are.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah. If you want to play it on the Xbox One, you can do. If you want to play it on PC, you can do. But you will get the best experience on the Xbox Series X. And that's how they need to advertise it, which they won't, because they won't. It just won't happen like that.
Do you think they'll have a flagship title that's not available anywhere else?
I think Halo Infinite is going to be that flagship title, but I think they're going to win out.
I guess Nintendo did it with Breath of the Wild.
I'm really torn by this because it makes business sense to release Halo only on the Series X, but I feel like that's not what they're going to do.
Mm. It's a difficult one. Nintendo released Breath of the Wild on Wii U and Switch.
Yep.
And that game moved Switches. But
that game moved Wii U's.
Well, what I was going to say is...
certainly moved mine from one room to another so I could play it.
But people didn't have Wii U's. People have an Xbox One.
True.
The Halo fans have the Xbox One. Do they need something to say, look, you can only play this on Series X? I think they need it. I think the average consumer will look at something and say, okay, but I already have an Xbox and it can do everything that can do. Even if it can do it a bit worse, it can do everything.
You say that, but what was the flagship title for the Xbox One?
Rise, Son of Rome.
You laugh, but it was, wasn't it?
It was.
It was.
It absolutely was.
Wow. I think in the first 6 months there'll be a big old game. I don't think it'll be a launch title.
I think they need it. I think they need a launch title.
They will have launch titles, but why did I search that in Wikipedia and not in Google?
What are you searching for? The launch
full
titles.
list of Xbox One launch titles.
Yeah, I had these up, or at least I've got the PlayStation 4 up.
So from there, the flagship titles were Rise, Son of Rome, Killer Instinct, and Dead Rising 3.
For PlayStation 4, and I'm hoping this isn't outdated, but we've got Killzone Shadowfall and Knack.
Oh, wow, Knack.
Knack.
Wow, now that's a fight I'd love to see, Rise, Son of Rome versus Knack. I think Knack wins that because there was a sequel.
I think Knack wins that because there was gameplay.
Okay, if you need to disappear and then we can come back to wrap up after this ad break. It's very much like the... I'm going to say something political, so let's just cut off now.
Here's a message from our sponsors. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
I will put a sponsor message in there, you know that.
During the break, Daniel confirmed some breaking news.
It's hardly breaking news. I mean, this is an article from the 8th of May.
Go ahead, Daniel.
We discussed whether or not Halo would be exclusive to Xbox Series X, and it's not. It's part of their smart delivery program, where if you play a game on the Xbox One, you get that game for free on the Xbox Series X. I thought that was the case. I was fairly certain they'd announced it for the Xbox One before they announced Project Scarlet.
Is that the same with PC?
Go fish.
So Game Pass.
I get the feeling that if you that it's a different system, but it's similar to the if you own it on Xbox, you get it on PC.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's
the same.
I get the feeling that Microsoft now want you to. It's essentially a better version of what they were trying to do with the Xbox One. Remember that just terrible reveal of the Xbox One when they said it's always online. You can't trade in your games because they'll be attached to the system and this, that, and the other. I think it's that idea done right. I think it's the sort of thing where they want you to go all digital, and they're saying, look, if you go all digital, you can play these games anywhere.
Yeah, which is the right way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And again, I think that comes down a lot to the appointment of Phil Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
If you had Phil Spencer in charge, you wouldn't ever have had the whole Sony thing of, hey, how do we share games on PlayStation? There you go.
Yeah, that was
what they were proposing back then.
That was a great middle finger, wasn't it?
But the people took it the wrong way, because what they were proposing is that, okay, you can't trade in your games, but you can share them with anybody on your friends list.
Mm-hmm.
But people need a headline, so plus they did announce it in a really stupid way.
Yeah, and the fact that they said that you have to be online and the console will check whether you're online, otherwise you wouldn't be able to play. Like there were all sorts of weird stuff where it was like, no one wants this, Microsoft. Yeah, as I say, and I keep going back to the Switch because I know Nintendo more than the other companies, but the Wii U's failings to the Switch's success, that seems to have been the case for at least the idea for the initial Xbox One reveal to now what's going forward into the Xbox Series X. They've learned.
But also 6 years ago, if you'd have said we're going all digital, people would have laughed at you.
Yeah,
but now it's a case of all digital will work.
But Microsoft aren't saying they're going all digital.
No, but they're moving in that direction.
Yeah, they're essentially encouraging you to go all digital.
And the problem with it, and the reason why people aren't going all digital, is because there are games that are reaching 200 gig.
Yeah. Isn't Call of Duty 200 gig?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a ridiculous file size for it?
It is. And a lot of it comes down to the high-res textures, because you've got to store those high-res textures somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only going to get bigger with these 4K, 8K, whatever rubbish. And I don't like that I'm forced to download it on my PC where I'm going to be running at 1080.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
fair enough. True. Plug 4K textures in, but get rid of the other texture packs.
Give you an option when you install it.
Yeah, the
problem with options is it confuses things.
What I think that it's difficult to do that though.
Mm-hmm.
What I think should happen is that PC games should all come with a benchmarking tool, and then you can set your benchmarking tool, and then when you get to the end of the benchmarking tool and you've got your statistics of how the game runs, and make sure the benchmarking tool is representative of how the game runs, not like Tomb Raider where it says, oh yeah, I'm going to run at 60 FPS and you get in game and it's 35. Have your benchmarking tool, and then at the end of the benchmarking tool, when it says, yep, I'm running at 60 FPS with these settings, have a little thing that pops up saying, or even a little dialog box in the bottom right-hand corner that you could just click when you're done, saying, get rid of all of the textures I'm not using.
Yeah.
I've set these textures to be this size. It's running fine. Get rid of anything else that I'm not using. Reduce my install.
If there was a way to do that pre-install as well, that would be brilliant.
But the problem is you don't know how the game's going to run, and different people want games to run at different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. But if there was a way in an ideal world, that would be great. And if there was a way,
I hate to tell you this, but that's what's called owning a console.
True.
Because then the game knows what it's going to run at, so it doesn't need the additional textures.
True. Oh
snap! You went there.
Which is why I'm seriously considering getting a PS5 rather than upgrading my graphics card.
I can understand that.
You know,
But at the moment, it's the same with for me. It's the same with the Xbox One, and it's the same with the PS4, where I haven't seen anything that makes me go, okay, I don't want to miss out on this.
to me,
And that also the 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 rise of streaming as well has contributed to that, because I don't have to own one of these consoles to experience some of these games.
yeah, true.
Like I know the whole of I know the whole of Spider-Man.
But it depends what you mean by experience these games.
True. I would still like to play. It's like I was saying earlier. I watched through the whole of Final Fantasy 15, but I still wanted to play it.
Yeah, I think it's a completely different experience, and me personally, and this just comes down to how we enjoy games differently. But I'd never want to watch a playthrough of a game that I haven't played if I plan on playing it.
Yes, and the reason why I've watched these games is because I've got no way to play them.
Yeah,
And at the time Final Fantasy 15 came out, there was no way of me playing it. And then they, you know, announced they were releasing it on PC, which I was delighted with, and I went back and played through it,
yeah,
and still enjoyed it.
yeah. Fair
And
play.
it's the same with Horizon Zero Dawn. I was unable to play. I've been unable to play Horizon Zero Dawn, so I've watched it be at least most of the way played through,
Hmm.
and it's coming out on PC, and I'm still going to play it through.
We're nearing the 3 hour mark, which is getting a bit ridiculous. So I'm gonna um, draw a line under some sort of prediction for next gen for me, which is that PlayStation will continue down this path, and the fact that they're having this PlayStation Studios branding launching alongside the PS5 sort of confirms that to me, that PlayStation are almost treating their IP now like Nintendo does, almost, where they're trying to develop new original titles where you can only play them on PlayStation. And
But why does that need a publishing branch? What's wrong with Sony Computer Entertainment?
I don't know. I think they're just getting it synonymous with the PlayStation name,
Okay,
and whether a selection of these games come out on PC, I think more of them will, but I think the vast majority will at least be timed exclusives. Um,
mm,
and I think that's what they're going for. The fact that um, they will be the place to play unique games that are made in house that are really high quality. They've I'm just looking at a list now. The opening video features Uncharted, Little Big Planet, God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us. I think they're wanting their name to be synonymous not just with a console but with good games, great games, really high quality games. I think Microsoft are almost going the opposite route, where they will have games developed like in house and they will have first party titles, but they are going consumer friendly. Xbox Game Pass kind of proves that, where they want all their new releases to be on Game Pass. They want people paying this monthly, yearly subscription, and they want their games on PC as well. They want just the broadest player base, and they're not necessarily bothered that the Series X doesn't reach the highest player base because the Xbox brand will. That's my predictions.
cool.
How about you?
Uh, Crossplay, baby. Um, I want to play FIFA against somebody on Xbox. I want to play FIFA against somebody on PlayStation. I don't want to be locked into the people that, I am locked into playing on PC. Um, I don't want people's game console choice decided by one person in their friendship group that just refuses to buy another console and just goes, no, I'm getting the Xbox One. If you don't get the Xbox One, then you can't play with me.
Is that
So that's what I want.
Is that something you want, or is that something you think will happen?
I think that there's going to be a big old push towards it. I think it's already started. I think it's going to continue, and I just think it's going to be how long it takes until. I don't think it's a case of if. I think it's a case of when. And I think this is the console generation where it's going to happen.
Fair play.
Especially if companies keep on shoveling out the same old shit at 30 FPS.
And with that, that's the first episode of Video Games and Chill. See you later.
Outro music. That was Video Games and Chill.
Boo.